here we go. Game number 1 between Mongo10 and LookTom, about to get underway. First map of the day is going to be Kamchatka. I really like this map. This is, I think, one of my new favorite maps, and we're going to get underway here in just a moment. It looks like it's going to be the winter spawn. I see Jerome typing in chat saying PC issues, caster curse, buffering all the time. Well, hopefully it's not actually buffering all the time. I was having some connection issues a little bit earlier on, but it looks like those have been resolved with this restart. So with that being said, here we go. Game number 1, spawning in the bottom right side of the map. And the color blue, playing the Portuguese civilization, is Mongo10. And his opponent, spawning in the upper left side of the map, in the color red, playing the French civilization, is Hey Look Tom. Going to be dropping down that mark. It looks like we had a food crate start as our extra crate, and nope, looks like in fact coin crate start as our extra crate. In both players, as a result of that, not going to be able to build a trading post. LookTom dropping down the market is going to look for that hunting dogs upgrade here early in the game. And we'll see where that lands him. Kind of an interesting little spyglass there by Mongo. Did drop down the spyglass right on top of the central trading post. Got it scouted out. And, well, doesn't really learn much as a result. Is going to be able to pick up a little bit of a wood treasure there. 50 wood going into his bank, and going to help him as he makes his transition into the next stage. This matchup, one that we haven't seen actually very much of. We've seen tons of French versus German, and we've seen a fair amount of things like French versus Brits and French versus Russia, even arguably, but I haven't actually seen a lot of Port versus French. So we'll see how this one ends up playing out. Looks like LookTom starting to transition bills back over to his hunt, meaning that he has gotten his hunting dogs and the resources required for that, and is going to be pounding up his house as he approaches the 20 population mark, or as he approaches the 10 population mark, rather. Both players just continuing to scout around the map. Of course, this is a map that does have some goats. Let's take a quick look at those. 5 goats for LookTom. His opponent, Mongo, currently sitting on 3 goats. The goat distribution fairly even at this point of the game, as both players continue to scout around the map and maybe pick up any more of those that do remain. But for the most part, it looks like most of them have been picked up. In fact, I believe all of them have been picked up. Nope, there's one more set there. I thought there was 10, but looks like there is 10. So 2 more hiding out in the black part of the map. This little goat is going to see his comrades as he works his way back towards red space. And standard cards coming in. 3 CDBs for our French player. Let's take a look at Mongo's shipment progression. Nothing just yet. Looks like he's going to be opting to hold that card for the second age, and we'll see what he makes of that. Of course, the options that Portuguese do have in the first stage, probably limited to economic theory, if you do want to send it. Of course, for those of you who may be new to Age of Empires in general, Portuguese do not have villager shipments, and as a result, not able to send that very strong card in the first stage. Of course, if you think about the 3 villager shipment in general, it represents a huge chunk of your economy in the early game, and that's why, if you're new to the game, that's why everyone sends it. It really is just the best de facto card for almost every civilization. Mongo putting up a little bit of a wall. Looks like he's going to be playing a more defensive style of Portuguese, and we'll have to see what that's going to churn into as a result. Of course, we do see a very large ring wall coming up here. Looks like it's completed all the way down to the south, and I suspect perhaps even going to be completed all the way up here on the north side of his base as well. So with the completion of this wall, he will have 2 coin mines and a fairly good chunk of hunts. It looks like 2 full hunts, maybe a little bit more from his starting hunt, available to him. And we'll see what that actually ends up resulting in. Likely not going to be seeing any sort of military presence out of the Portuguese player early in the game. And I suspect we may even see something industrial aged. We'll have to see what kind of response the French player has as a result of this. Of course, he has fully scouted out. We could see the native scout floating around nearby. Has identified the fact that his opponent is playing this very defensive walling style. We'll have to see what he does as a reaction to that. Second town center for the Portuguese player, going down in a very defensive position. Going to play once again into that turtley play style that he's currently setting up with the defensive structures in his base. French, on the other hand, looks like he's going to be playing fairly standard. We'll see how he elects to spend this 400 wood. Looks like it's going to be a stable, and has already dropped down the trading post as well. So for the time being, everything looking fairly standard from the French player, along the lines of a semi-FF. And as the 700 coin comes in for Mongo as his first card, we're going to see him begin to look to start getting into the next stage here as well. So looks like for the most part this game will take place in the 3rd and beyond ages. And we'll see what Mongo ends up doing as a result of this. We can see, of course, did age up with the Philosopher Prince, it looks like, having that extra food crate on the ground. And now has his 700 coin here and is gathering that up and is going to soon have the resources to be able to age himself. So 2 town centers, plenty of resources for the time being in his base in this wall. But as time moves on, if you take a look at the hunts a little bit further out, right, he's going to have to be able to control locations like this, and as a result, we'll have to see where his next town center comes down. I think that will be very telling as to whether he intends to stay in the 3rd age or the 4th age. And perhaps that town center, if he's going to stay in the 3rd age and amass a military a little bit earlier on, will go in one of these 2 locations, 2 very good locations to be able to put down a town center, covering both a coin mine and a hunt. And of course, should he be able to secure one of those locations, we'll have continued food as the game continues to progress. Both players sending 700 wood. Nope, looks like a very defensive 3rd town center as well for Mongo. So everything going to be very defensively placed. And as a result, I suspect we're going to see some sort of age 4 play here out of our Portuguese comrade. We can see he has dropped down a trading post of his own. But with this full wall that he's got currently going inside of his base, these first 5 cav that LookTom has created aren't really going to be able to do that much, and as a result, it looks like the industrial age probably is going to be something that Mongo is going to be able to do, should he so choose. We'll have to see what his next card is. There's the 1k coin, almost certainly confirming the fact that he's probably going to be looking to age here. There is quite a bit of gathering that still has to be done should he want to get aged up. Maybe he'll even make a couple Dragoons to deal with these couple roaming cav first to be able to deal with this. But then I suspect we'll see him moving towards the 4th age. And then we have to start considering, what's his plan in 4th age and beyond. Is it just... Oh, he did get 1 cav past. Look at that. He's trying to, bug them out. To be perfectly fair, if he would just have started sieging this instead of trying to bug his cav to get through, he's actually managed to work a couple of them through the wall. But if he had just started sieging one of these wall segments, he would be through in about the same amount of time as he's taken here to try and bug his cav. And now I think these 2 guys are stuck. Let's see if he can bug them back out. Come on. Yeah. Oh, he's trying. You can tell he's trying. He's doing the same thing as I am right now. He's just watching these 2 cav, trying to get them to exit appropriately. Looks like that's not going to be the case. A single Dragoon is going to be able to pop out and is likely going to be able to kite around and deal with them. 1 Hussar has gone down to the damage by the Dragoon and the Explorer, and it looks like the second one going to be following a similar fate as the Dragoon. The single Dragoon does save all of the villagers, and no damage is really done as a result of this. Behind this, of course, LookTom does have 2 trading posts. If we take a look at the text being researched, we can see that he is aging up himself with the Exiled Prince. Will soon be aged up And now it's up to him as the aggressor in this matchup to really come up with some sort of a response. If you take a look at Mongo's resources, he's quickly approaching the number of resources needed to get into the 4th age, pretty much confirming our age 4 suspicions for Mongo. And as a result, it's going to be up to LookTom to be able to either do something to deny that age 4 or to put together some sort of timing pressure to deal with the impending doom that is going to be coming here out of Mongo's base. Let's take a look at Mongo's deck very quickly. If we do take a look, we can see 5 organ guns, 2 heavy cannons, and 8 dragoons all available to him in the 4th age. So it has plenty of power there in the next stage. Of course, there is the Janitors card that is always so highly sought after as well. This is the Mortar range card, yeah, range finding in his deck as well. Of course, the 2 factories as well, pretty much staples of any deck. Going to be representing a large resource spike when he does get into the 4th age. So we can see that 4th age is currently being researched. He's aging up with the Tycoon, which I do believe is 2 organ guns, so he's going to have a little bit of artillery available to him when he does get aged up. But here does come LookTom's response to this. 2 Falconets creeping their way across the map. Looks like a couple of Dragoons, the remaining Hussar that didn't get bugged out and didn't find their way through the wall, and a couple of muskets and infantry units as well. So Mongo is aging slowly. Of course, there is no fast age to the 4th age, so you do have to take your time. And as a result, these 2 Falconets are going to be able to move into position and start slowly dealing some damage here. I wish you could click on the button and tell which town center this was in. I would suspect Mongo wouldn't make the mistake of queuing his age up in this forward town center. And I think it's a fairly safe assumption that it's happening in one of these 2 back town centers. The age up does occur, and the 4th town center is going to go down in a very defensive location. Nope, Tycoon, it looks like, is the coin gathering, or the coin, so he's going to have the coin available to him. Is he trying to revolt, perhaps? No, it doesn't look like he's trying to revolt. But he is going to lose one of his town centers here to the 2 Falconets, likely, and similarly probably going to be losing this town center as it's getting sieged. Colonial Militia does get popped, is going to represent a very large damage spike for the Portuguese player. A couple of the Minutemen sneaking their way up to the cannon, trying to deal some damage to it as the town center is continuing to get pummeled. It looks like they're not going to quite be able to deal with it, but I suspect with the damage from the town center, he will be able to pick off the remaining 10 HP from that Falconet. 2 heavy cannons do come out and are... Well, I was going to say are going to do massive damage, but it looks like LookTom saw those and shat his pants, realized that perhaps he wasn't prepared to deal with the 2 heavy cannons, and asks for a moment here. So we'll take a moment. Let's examine the other portions of the map. What is LookTom doing behind this? It looks like he does have a town center coming up. Of course, because he is the non-defensive player in this situation, he does have continued access to many of these resources. If you take a look at the right side of his base, he's got plenty of exposed villagers here, but really no expectations for those to get raided or harassed at any point in this game. And as a result, looks like he's just going to continue to try and expand out, to back off for the time being, and try and get some presence here in the middle of the map as he remasses his army and tries to figure out a way to deal with these 2 heavy cannons. Now, of course, Mongo did have to call quite a few Minutemen, and as a result of that, did use a pretty good chunk of those resources. He did send the 2 heavy cannon card as well, which does mean, at least for LookTom, that he can take some comfort in the fact that his opponent didn't send a factory wagon, which is a huge economic spike. And for the time being, if we take a look at the, let's take a look at the raw economic unit population. 40 to 41, about even, 32 CDB versus 41 villagers. LookTom does have 2 trading posts to 1 advantage, so slightly in his favor there, but no stagecoach for either player or anything crazy like that. But I think the important thing in all of this is Mongo is quickly running out of resources here in his base, and as a result of that, very soon he's going to have to make a decision of which of these locations he's going to try and occupy. And if LookTom can amass an army and keep him off of those two locations, this one up here to the north and this one off to the south of Mongo's base, should be able to put up some sort of a pretty good contest there. Looks like Sincair's Boot and Bowl Saloon is being currently built. And as a result, it looks like Mongo is just going to be building a couple of mercenaries here. This is the point in the game where he hopes that he's rolled Mamelukes and can get some of those working for him. Let's take a look at what he's got in queue, because that's going to be very telling. Indeed, he has rolled Mamelukes. He's currently got 4 Mamelukes in queue, which combined with these couple of Dragoons and these 2 heavy cannons, the remaining Minutemen, are going to provide quite a threat. Now, of course, it's not immediately apparent to LookTom what his opponent is doing, nor is it, had he known that his opponent was going to go mercenaries, is it guaranteed that his opponent is going to be making Mamelukes as well. So currently not a ton of anti-cavalry here. He does have some Dragoons, but truthfully, that's not really the number of Dragoons that you're going to need, especially, you got things like 8 Skirms coming in as your next card. Those Mamelukes do train very slowly, but when they do come out, are going to be very strong. It looks like we're going to have some contest over here. And what we were saying earlier is going to take effect, that both players are going to be trying to secure this location on the side of the map. The 2 Culverins do snipe one of the heavy cannons. One of the heavy cannons does remain at full HP. The Minutemen continuing to add some DPS in here, but here come the Mamelukes from the backside, 5 of them total, and that is going to be absolutely not what LookTom wants to see. They are going to easily be able to clean up his artillery and the corresponding skirmishers here as well. And as a result, he is going to be forced back out of the situation. And in fact, it looks like he's just going to resign. GG called, and mongo10 takes game number 1 in this best of 7 series. Take a look at the all resources gathered. Yeah, LookTom was fairly ahead, but military unit population is going to show the story here. The 2 heavy cannons pop out. The timing pressure from LookTom not really able to do too much. And then that last reinforcing batch of Mamelukes sealing the deal here in game number 1. So game number 1 going on over to Mongo. And we'll hop into game number 2 here in a moment. Guard just saying, why do I see 5 Mams? It wasn't actually a 5 Mam card, it was Mams built out of a saloon. They came from the saloon. What does a Mameluke cost at the saloon? I believe it's 400 coin. I believe. Interjection is here. Interjection, what's up?
We back.
You did it. Came from the saloon.
Hold on, let me turn you off.
Yeah, I can hear myself.
Yeah.
Back in the
Came
mix.
from the saloon, allegedly. So, turns out that little, you probably can't see it with full screen. Let me sign in. But the little Windows icon, if you right-click it, one of the options is Control Panel. And that was exactly what we needed.
That's what we needed. Now we're back in the mix.
Yep. So for those of you that don't know, I have this issue. Every time I press the start button, like 90% of the time, Windows returns a message saying critical error, your start menu isn't working. And it says, we'll try and fix this the next time you sign in. And then it gives me the option to sign out. And that's not very useful. So using a computer with that start menu is surprisingly awkward. But yeah, I need to reinstall Windows to fix that. But for the time being, I can kind of
You can kind of get it.
You kind of get it. That's right.
Mongo is hosting currently.
All right. Mongo10 Spiel.
Da. 9.
Ooh, Spain. And Ottoman.
Spain and Ottomans. Spain and the Ottomans.
One problem.
What's that?
How do you tab out when you don't have a Windows key?
Alt tab.
Oh yeah, that works.
Mm-hmm. Do you really push the Windows key every time you want to tab out?
I press Windows key and D, which minimizes everything.
Does it really?
Yeah.
I don't have a Windows key on this keyboard. Oh, nope, I do. Oh.
How can you not have a Windows key?
I didn't know that. Because I've got like this Steel Series thing, and so where the Windows key is normally on the left side, it's like this Steel Series button. I don't know what it does. Like if I push it, it doesn't seem to do anything.
Give me a sec. Settings.
Da. Is it ya or da for?
It's yeah.
I always thought it was da. Oh no, that's Russian. That's Russian, right? That's Russian. Are you ready?
All right.
Dante?
We're ready. We're ready, boys.
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 2 in this best of 7 series between Mongo10 and
Look,
oh dear,
Tom.
Look, oh Tom. I see. That worked quite nicely. That did. The launching game screen came up beforehand, and I was frantically trying to work out how to get this to work. ESOC patch for some reason was not working for me, but I have gotten that working. Some PC issues are resolved, and did mean I managed to miss game number 1, sadly. But I did see game number 1. It was on my phone whilst I was busy looking around. Look, Tom is paused.
Look, Tom.
That's a splendid name. What do you think he's up to?
Maybe like fixing his mouse or something. That's usually what happens when people pause. I've found in this game, like their mouse has done something dumb.
Yeah. Well, Mongo's confused.
Mongo's confused. Confusion abound. Have you ever seen the video of? There's this hilarious video where it's like some British guy watching baseball, and he's like doing like a fake commentary, like it's a cricket match in a baseball game.
Right.
And and one of them is like something along the lines of like confusion in the outfield or something, like because like the guys are just like running in between innings. It's a hilarious video.
I haven't seen it.
I'm gonna link it to you afterwards.
I will take a look. Are you? Did you get any games of Secret Hitler running last night?
No, we didn't. We ended up having to play Wallicium instead. We didn't have enough for Secret
Wallicium.
Hitler. Yeah, so
what is that? That giant map that you keep going on about?
You know, Wallicium is just like basically it's like it's just a Coliseum variant in Age of Empires 3. I won one game. We found out that Ottoman is brokenly overpowered, and then we played a second game and Mido won.
That sounds like fun.
But Otto is pretty overpowered in Wallicium, we've come to find.
They've been overpowered since forever, though.
Yeah. You know the reason why they're overpowered is because they get Mamelukes. So you know how Coliseum works, right? Every kill that you get, every unit that you kill, you get like a point. And then once you get to like a certain threshold of points, then you unlock like better, units, stronger units. And so Otto, one of the units that they get is Mamelukes, right? And so if you think of like a Mameluke as a single kill, it's like ridiculous, right? They've got like 2,400 hit points. Like how can you count that as a single kill? But it does count as a single kill.
Yeah, I can imagine why. Yeah, we are underway. So that was a bit delayed, that beginning there, but game is underway. I'm not sure what LookTom was up to, but whatever it was, he has fixed it and is ready to begin picking up the 50 wood treasure there. And it'll be pretty useful for him. And starting with 400 wood, 100 of which is going to be laid down on this house. And I imagine we'll see a trading post out of Ottoman as always. Yep, there he goes. Slamming that down. He's ready. It's collected all of his wood, so he's got 150 wood left. He could actually gather another 50 wood if he was so inclined, and slam down a second trading post. That might be something to think about if he was yeah. In the south of the map, though, the colour blue, Spain starting with the trading post. Spain also, by the looks of it, enjoying the trading post meta. That's fun.
Yeah. This will be an interesting matchup because oftentimes, so Otto has two things basically that they can do, right? They're kind of a two-trick pony. They either Jan Avis you, which isn't as good in this patch, or they can straight FF and try and use some of their very strong FF like mercenary shipments, right? 4 Mamelukes, Spahi, stuff like that. And Spain actually does surprisingly well by just straight FFing and dealing with Mamelukes. If you think about like Mamelukes and Spahi, they're really good at like face tanking range damage, skirms, stuff like that. Well, turns out Spain doesn't have skirm shipments. They do have rod shipments, which, because of their extra speed and because of their melee resistance, actually do pretty good against Mamelukes in general. So I'm curious to see what Mongo will do. I'm going to predict we're just going to have dueling straight FFs in this game.
Oh, a bit of vanilla.
This was, it would actually be very vanilla-esque.
Yeah, very, very vanilla-esque. Look, he's going up for a 90 wood treasure. That's going to be pretty good for Spain. Going to be enjoying that. Means he'll have to collect less wood during transition. But then he's already got a trading post there, so actually I'm not sure what he'll do with this wood. Traditionally, right, you'd always find the wood once you've clicked up, then you'd collect for a trading post. Yeah. Do you think he'll get 2 trading posts? Is that worth doing?
I suspect he will. You know what I think would be really clever is if you'd go over here and snatch Otto's second trading post. Because Otto, we can look at his resources, right? He's got 150 wood. And he's likely going to be looking to put down that second trading post. If he were to start working his way up there, he could do one of two things. If Otto starts building that trading post, he could kill it with the War Dog and the Explorer combined while he's building it. And then if he can scare him off that location, he can just drop it and use his War Dog defensively to guard his Explorer while he takes that second trading post. And then Otto has to make the decision, do I walk all the way down here with, the War Dog in tow to potentially take that second trading post? Or do I concede to my opponent the fact that he's just going to have my second trading post? And both of those situations are kind of awkward for Ottoman. So I think it would have been kind of a clever thing to do. It doesn't look like that's what Mongo's going to end up doing. As we can see, his Explorer is back at home picking up a treasure, but I think it would have been kind of a neat little meta play on him there.
Yeah, I think that would have been interesting to see. No, sadly, his Explorer, well, not sadly, but his Explorer is back home. By the looks of it, both players are clicking up. Well, Spain has only just clicked up. All the villagers are actually going to move on over to wood. He chose to build a market with the 90 wood that he did find, and actually he is just going to head on over to the trading post in his own base with his Explorer there. It's probably going to be collecting all of the wood that he needs. 200 wood for that, and possibly now that he's built a market, maybe steel traps is possible. So on the cards, it'll slow him down quite a lot. There's quite a significant portion of wood to gather. So maybe he'll just start with the hunting dogs there. If he tries to get steel traps as well, then it might slow him down a bit too much going up to the next stage. But we'll see what he has in mind. It could be, a straight FF here, but maybe it'll be a slower one. Maybe he'll have some villagers in mind, send that 5 vill shipment to see what he chooses to do. Personally, I think against Ottoman, I'd like to be as fast as possible. Yeah. But what do you think, Zir?
It's actually kind of an interesting situation, because if you take a look at LookTom's base, he's actually aged up with the 400 wood politician, and as a result, not going to have like the super fast super fast governor age up in tow. So as a result, he may be playing a little bit slower. I'm curious to see what he's going to do with this 400 wood, because it's going to be very telling as to whether or not he's going to actually play age 2 or if he's going to play age 3. Let's make sure it's not me. Okay, it's not me.
Is it me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I think it's LookTom. as his name comes up on screen.
Can we get some colon // in the chat, please?
Colon // Is it a / or a back? Yeah, it's a // I used to always get them mixed up, the / and the \.
Maybe we should get some / colons in there. How about that? Mix it up a bit.
That's a good one. Or There, because now he looks like he's sad, right? He's crying. He's got either that or he's just got like a lazy eye or something. He's probably just got a lazy eye.
Well, we need to like take a look at the Twitch emotes. There's loads in here that I have no idea what they are. We need to claim one, Zuta. We need to pick one and then make it our own. You know.
Okay. Which one do you want?
I don't know. I'm like I want to use one that no one else like would ever. Oh, he's gone.
Yep.
Well.
Ripping pepperonis.
Ripping pepperonis. We can't have that one. That's a shame. That is an emote.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I'm thinking this one. It's J-Can style, but I'm not sure if that's used for anything. Or I'm not sure what we'd use it for.
J-Can style. Well, I don't even know what that guy does.
I don't know either. We can't just pick one. We have to have like it has to mean something. It has to be used at a particular time, doesn't it? Mm. You can't just like go, oh, this is ours, and then
excited halberdier. That's a good one. All right, so LookTom, it looks like is look dead.
Look out.
Let's see. Here. Let's see if Urashik is here. Otherwise, anyone else in chat wanting to play? This happened, I think, last time LookTom played as well.
Look at this one, DB style. Look, someone is water laming.
That's a pretty good one. All right, here's the great Zuta plea to chat. Anybody willing to play? Please stand up. Yeah.
Everyone's looking at Azemp right now, and he's just like, I'm eating my chicken wings. Leave me alone. Poor Azemp. Sits down to watch Saturday Smackdown with his dinner, and everyone's like shouting at him to play games.
Hey, you guy, go play. Will the real A's please stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up. Or Garja. There's Garja. Maybe Garja wants to play. WT Rock. Where do these all come from?
I don't know. If you click the little smiley face button next to the chat,
like
sort of in the chat box, it gives you a big list of them, and you can click on the one you want.
Yeah, I see.
But then if you just remember the words you have to type for it, you can just type them in, and
yeah.
I only know I know quite a few, evidently, but I don't know all of them. There's so many.
There's a lot. These are all the default ones.
Yeah, and then if you subscribe to people, you get extra ones. Like you can have special ones.
I see. I'm looking at them now.
Yeah. So people could spam this if... Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Shit. This one, that's a better one. Yeah, look at that. When we don't start on time. We need an overlay one. Oh, that would be great. An overlay emoticon.
Late. Alright. Well, A's and or Garja. Rare Pepe.
Rare Pepe. I can't see that one.
Look at the... No, it doesn't do anything. Look at the come on, bra, A's. Everyone spam this in chat. Let's see if we can get A's to play.
Come on, bruh. Surely we should have A's and then have the guy looking at the words, you know? We're doing it wrong here.
Yeah.
It should be like...
Should be the other way around.
Yeah. It's like that. We need like a cow emote. That would be A's. I joked on my live stream earlier today that when I had a cow on my canoe, it was as if I had Azank on board.
Pretty much, yep.
Yeah.
OS Sloth. That's a good one.
We got the chat joining
Yeah,
in
we
now.
got him going. Oh, LookTom is back.
Hey, PogChamp. Look, we got Elizabeth III in the chat.
There hasn't been an Elizabeth III, right? We're only on the second one. Who's your current queen? Elizabeth II, is that right?
I think Elizabeth III of Spain, possibly.
Elizabeth III. No, because that's Isabella. Well, I don't know. I'm just chatting shit, talking about the Age of Empires ones, I guess.
Yeah, sorry, Spain doesn't have an Elizabeth. Yeah, we don't have a third one of those yet. Queen Elizabeth II is our current monarch.
Okay. Join the game. We got LookTom back in the mix.
Not that she actually means anything, but
Look, Tom's back.
in theory, I think Britain's still technically a theocracy with a single dictator leader, but it doesn't quite work that way. But like the government is given power by the Queen, who is given power by God. So
I wish I had been chosen by God to be the leader of a country.
She was hardly chosen by God, but
Well, I don't know if you believe that. Have you ever watched that one video that's like basically tells like the history of the British throne and like how it has like been passed down, and it's like
by
so
CGP
messy.
Grey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it.
So
I love all of his videos.
Yeah.
They're great. Yeah, I've seen that one. It's quite a good video, actually.
Yep.
I just love the guy in general. But we do have game number 2 in the series restarting here. Actually, both players, I believe, starting in the same positions in the map, sort of the north and south positions there. Yeah, I am correct. But this time, no, this time we do have a 400 wood start. But in addition to that, a food crate as well. No 40 wood or 50 wood treasure nearby this time. Just a 40 food here, just a little bit to the north, and sort of a 30 XP treasure in his base, which he might get. He might crack shot that, or just go for it normally. I guess there's no reason. The first thing he's going to do, of course, though, is slam down the trading post. So the crack shot could have been good there to get it recharging. But 30 XP, get those 3 villagers coming along away a little bit quicker. Or maybe he... actually, it doesn't really matter when you get it, because you can build the trading post and then collect the 30 XP afterwards and do all of that still before you receive your first shipment. But yeah, might as well pick up that treasure beforehand. But of course, Ottoman, there we go, trading post start, and a house there with a bit of wood left over. He has nearby, ooh, look at that over here, a 90 wood treasure as well. So should he come across that, does have 100 wood in bank, and if he collected that treasure plus 10 more, could lay down a second trading post, and that'd be really, really nice for the Ottoman player. I'll have to see how that progresses. Meanwhile, though, Spain, in the south of the map, in the colour blue, has also gone for a trading post, but more importantly, with his war dog and explorer, has been roaming the map and hoarding all of the cows, Zuta. Look at that, he's finding plenty of them right now. He now has 4, and I imagine the UI will update any moment to represent 6 cows. Mongo10 here, going to find lots of cows due to the extra scouting units that he has, and that's going to be really good for him as well.
Take a look at the population gaps.
Ooh, 12 out of 10. Does he have a house going down? Not yet. Does he have a villager in
I was hoping in
Let's take a look.
Piroshiki we trust, but no, not in Piroshiki we trust.
No, he doesn't have a villager in queue either, sadly for him. But no matter, he does have the house down real quick. But I share the same sentiment in Piroshiki, Elizabeth II of Piroshiki, Britain.
It would have been interesting to see, but not today. Not going to happen. Looks like he's going to be playing a little bit more standard. For those of you who don't know why I was momentarily excited, there's this guy who plays 100% Spain in Quick Search named Piroshiki, and he does the same build essentially every single game, where he builds a TP regardless, and does like this 12-10 type style age up, and does a really fast aggressive FF, and it's actually okay. Like the first couple times you play against it, if you aren't prepared for it, it's very easy to lose to, because it comes so early and with so much heavy infantry and 2 cannons that if you're not expecting it, it can be difficult to beat. That being said, when you do it every single game 3,000 times in a row on quick search, people start to expect it, and anyone who's an old hand to the game has got it figured out and knows how to beat it. But I was hoping that we were going to see a little bit of Piroshiki on fire flavor style, but not going to be happening.
It is a very, very fun build to play, and also a very, very fun one to watch. I really do like to see like the huge amounts of units that come streaming out of the town centre. And, of course, protecting 2 cannons with a very large amount of pikemen, redeleros, and just heavy infantry in general. It's always a lot of fun. It does, though, look like that the Spanish player is going to be going for something more standard, as you were mentioning there. And, he's going to get mauled by a tiger. You don't want to be moving when that thing is attacking you. It turns out when you move away from the tiger, it's going to crack shot it there if the has the ability ready. Sadly, did some damage to it beforehand. But the point is, the big point here, 85 wood is going to be picked up. But yes, you don't want to run away from a tiger, as I was mentioning. Apparently the animation resets every time you try and walk away from it, so it gets to attack you instantly the second you walk away, and really, really does hurt. But 85 would going to be really, really nice for the Spanish player here. As we can see, he is now aging up, I suspect, considering he has villagers on wood, and is going to be swiftly approaching the 200 wood stockpile that he is perhaps looking for to slam down the next trading post. I assume that's where the explorer's going. He's probably he's coming back home. We'll see what he does, but certainly collecting some wood.
He might just be making a market here as well.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. In fact, I'm still interested, because this was about the point where the game dropped last time, right? Right when LookTom had got his 400 wood. He's doing essentially the same build. Single trading post, electing not to build the second trading post. And I hadn't seen this last game. I don't know if this was happening last game.
Ooh. Yeah, single racks.
Single racks.
I think it's been seen there. There's a random villager just there. There's 2 racks. There's one coming up behind it there.
Yeah. Looks like it's going to be just a really aggressive all-in Jan rush, perhaps,
Possibly.
out of LookTom. And look at, just dropping down
right
houses. Now. Yeah, and just dropping down a whole bunch of houses to support the population behind this. This is probably
700 food coming down. Oh, this is the old school vanilla one. This is where you just...
This is vanilla. Like, I'm just going to make as many Jans as I possibly can.
Nothing but Jans from a double racks, yeah.
This is pretty much every PR14. Every PR14 player has tried this build at some point in their career, right?
Yep.
You just drop down 2 racks as he ships 700 food. You make 30 Jans and you right click on top of their town center. Now the scary thing is Mongo behind this isn't making any military units. He's just straight FFing, and he's even built a livestock pen. That's what he was actually using the stockpiled wood for. So he's played kind of a conservative economic style here, and he's not even aging up yet. And you know the first batches of Jans are already out. This could get to be a situation where Spain maybe dies in transition. He's got the age up in Q now, but remember, Spain doesn't have a fast-aging politician, nor do they have an 8 skirmisher option, or any ranged infantry for that matter, as an option when they do get aged up. So it could be problematic if LookTom gets out enough Janissaries and just pushes away across the center of the map.
Here we go, boys. Ooh.
Here it comes.
Big mass of Jans incoming, of course. 700 food, the most efficient shipment that you can get that turns directly into Jans, and then 5 Jans to follow it, and then the push does income. I like to think that Spain can hold this. Perhaps not right now, because I don't think he has the resources for Minutemen, and he might be able to get that before they arrive, but it doesn't. No, wait, hold on. He's blue. He certainly has the resources for them.
Yeah.
That's all right then.
He's going to have the resources for Minutemen, and he's going to have the ability to train War Dogs. We can see he's preemptively trained 5 War Dogs, and he's just going to go this is classic.
Yeah, this is it, isn't it? Yeah. But the way you hold this is hopefully you age up with 4 cavalry, 8 pikes, of course, and then you attack all at once with the War Dogs. You explore it with Minutemen. And instead of a livestock pen, often you get the barracks up, and you could train 5 muskets or 5 rods.
That's a lot of siege damage going down.
Yeah, and then you could usually clear it up, and then 4 lances or 5 lances, as it was in Nilla, can turn up, and sort of that really does let you stabilize. But here, Minutemen going to get flattened. Does not have the rod shipment, and everything's a little bit early.
Yeah, is he sending any sort of any sort of H2 card? Like, does he even have an H2 card available?
There is a 7 rod shipment in his deck,
Yeah.
and there it is.
There it
He needed to
is.
wait a little bit longer, I think, for that to arrive, and then do everything that he did all at
Oh, but
once,
is the
and
town center going to
possibly,
go down?
yeah. Was the age up? I'm not
He's up
sure.
97. He's up. He's going to get up, but he's going to probably just lose his town center.
Yeah, and this is what the point where you'd like to bring everything all in at once.
Yeah.
You might even have to go a little bit earlier though here, because as you can see, the town center is still going to go down. You might not be able to wait for those 4 camp. That's not what's happening here. Well, he did focus the TC for a long time, and as a result, that took a lot of damage from the cav there and all of the things that Blue had managed to muster together. But without the town center, that's going to be a big problem for Blue.
And the important thing is, though, that he did get aged up. I actually think that Spain is probably okay here. He's going to have the fattened cows to be able to get him quite a bit of food and stabilize. And because he has the trading post, he's going to have a pretty good run of shipments coming in here. Of course, he's Spain as well, which is going to mean more shipments as well.
Yeah.
The real question is, like, what does he do for his population base? He probably has to send 1,000 wood as his first card here.
I think you're right. Yeah, he hasn't got any pop at all. Although the villagers, by the looks of it, are going to go and gather wood, and I'm not sure what you do if you send 1,000. It's like, well, how do you hold this off? You need to get some shipments out. I guess he has to. He's going to chop for 1 house perhaps, and then send 4 lancers, and then maybe send 1,000 wood afterwards. But you're going to have to send that big wood shipment at some point, aren't you?
Yeah,
Because
he's
you
got to
absolutely
send it. He's got to send it. The good thing is he's done a pretty good job of keeping his Explorer behind. I don't know if you saw what happened, but he did lose his Explorer, and then he had the presence of mind right before his town center went down to ransom it back so that he could continue to train War Dogs. And we can see these War Dogs are continuing just to hold back the pressure and buy him more time. 1,000 wood has hit the floor, and now he's going to have the ability to build a barracks. He still has a couple of these cows left. He's going to be able to train some houses. He's going to be able to start sending that next shipment, get some military back on the floor to stabilize. And we can see now, stable coming down, likely going to be training dragoons. And all of a sudden, this is the position that Otto, he's got nothing really, right? He's got a single unupgraded trading post. He's building an artillery foundry in his base now to try and stabilize with some Avis guns, but realistically, look at his economic unit population. It's at 20. Now, sure, Mongo's is at 15, which is a result of losing your town center at the 7-minute mark. But he's also got the tech advantage, right? He's in the third age. He's got some very strong shipments available to him. He can send 4 Lancers, do some raiding with those, and make things very, very difficult for the Ottoman player here moving forward.
How do you feel about the town center, though? I feel at this point, there's 2 options. There is the town center option, rebuild that straight away, get the villagers rolling out again, get back on your feet. And then the other option is, no, don't build a town center. Don't use that wood on the towns, on something economic. Spend it only on houses and getting out military units and counter pushing and trying to push back before you. There's your 2 options, right?
I think it's okay, truthfully, just because of the fact that at some point you're going to need to have it if you want to. It's the more economic, like stable, less all anyway. Like the way you're describing with just right, he could have just shipped military units here, not cared really about building anything with that 1,000 wood, and just transitioned into like a couple more units with it. Maybe even like sold some of the wood at the market and just built some more units and then pushed right now. But he's got plenty of food because of the livestock pen and the cows that he had fattening at it. And so with having some of that surplus of food, I think it's a smart decision to build a town center. You know that Otto, with their very slow training villagers, isn't going to have that many villagers. It's very unlikely that Otto is ever going to get above 25 villagers in total, just because of the moss requirement and having to get the upgrade to be able to train more villagers. Most Otto players never get above 25. So if you can get back on your feet and get back above 25 villagers, you're probably ahead in economy again at that point, assuming he's not done some sort of water boom or something like that. So I think it's okay. I think it'll be perfectly fine. And now he's dispatched one of the barracks and has 2 falconets on the floor.
The counter push is real. a very large mass of lancers. 2 falconets are going to do lots of work there. Abbas guns, they could make short work of the cannons if he catches them off guard, and that is possibly what's going to happen here. Abbas guns, of course, do siege damage, not range damage, and of course going to negate that range resist. 1 falc goes down almost uncontested. The other falc are going to take some punishment, but at least now he does have those lancers dealing massive damage, spanking all those heavy infantry with huge amounts of ×3. I love lancers, one of my favorite units there. It looks like he's going to clean that up real fast, and I think Spain here in a commanding position.
Yeah,
this is the kind of matchup that made me excited about Age of Empires 3 when I first started out. It was how Ottoman could push into a civilization playing very defensive or not really doing anything, and then Spain gets up to the fortress age. You can even lose his town center like we saw, and then the counter push just comes back out and you see Spain just push back out and win the game. And I found that was what really made me like Age of Empires 3, I think, when I was like very, very, very new to the game.
Yeah, it was so close.
Dynamic.
I mean, also imagine if for a moment the governor politician didn't give you an outpost. Think of how much more difficult of a position Spain would be in if he didn't have another location that he could ship shipments to, right?
Yep.
If 1,000 wood never came, there would never be a stable, there would never be any houses, there wouldn't be another town center. It would just be that much more awkward. So really the governor politician kind of saving him there as well. I think it was the correct decision, to be fair, by LookTom to make sure you get the town center, especially when you've committed that far underneath your opponent's town center. I think he took just a little too much damage from the war dogs, and had he, killed that explorer a little bit earlier on, still gotten the town center, and not allowed the war dog chase to happen. Because if you think what happened to this little interaction out in the middle of the map, he got chased back by war dogs for a very long time and ended up losing a lot of Jans as a result of it. So had he not taken all that damage to the war dog presence, perhaps he would have been in a little bit better of a position.
Do you think sieging the town center when all the units popped out was the correct decision to do as well?
It's hard. I mean, at that point, if you don't get the town center and you turn and fight, you look like an absolute fool. If you don't win the fight and you don't get the town center, then you're just dead there at 8 minutes, right? You have to, at the very least, get the town center, I think. Whether or not turning and fighting first and then finishing the town center after you've potentially won the fight, or whether or not you just face tank the damage from the dogs and the Minutemen and the age-up units and get the town center like LookTom opted for, it's really tricky. I mean, either way, it's very all-in. And I mean, we can see this option resulted in a loss with the all-in, right? But both ways are definitely all-ins. I mean, the auto player does not have any hopes of winning this the longer the game goes.
Yep, that's right. And that does conclude game number 2. And the score, I believe, is 2-0.
2-0 for Mongo, yep.
I need to play more AoE 3. Just watching that game just reminded me of like my vanilla days. It was quite nostalgic to see that.
That was very vanilla. That's like the premier matchup in vanilla as well right now, right?
Yeah, but they're the two tops.
Yeah.
To this day, the 2 top tier civs. Yeah. Spain and Ottoman. GP or HP?
Yep. Let's do a Plains-esque map. I actually think I really like Great Plains. Like, going back and looking at Great Plains, the issue with Great Plains, right, is that
TP.
central TP, right?
Yeah.
Which is really, really good. But imagine if maybe there wasn't 3 TPs. What if there was 4 TPs and each player had one in the middle? Or just 2, and they were slightly out of the base, right? So you could actually punish it. Might be kind of interesting.
I wonder if, just in general, good map design is should TPs be so defendable? Just a well-made map. Surely TP should be something in the middle of the map. Sort of a New England style, or was it Hudson Bay? The one that goes from not from each player's base.
Yeah.
Because TPs, I think, are far too rewarding currently anyway, and they should at least be something you have to try and control in the middle of the map. Makes me wonder.
They're very good in the current meta.
They are. Perhaps they should have like fewer hit points or something, because in that way there would be something that's
That you
more
could
difficult
contest,
to. Yeah, that you can actually sort of siege down and punish if it's not adequately defended. Because I feel like it should be something that you have to defend. I don't like how defendable they are. Anyway, next map is on High Plains, the bread and butter, or at least it looks similar to the bread and butter of Age of Empires 3. Great Plains, the map everyone thinks of when they think of Age of Empires 3, at least on vanilla. We do have in the south of the map, the colour blue, playing as indeed the Sioux, mongo10. Here he is, starting with 3 food crates and a wood crate and 200 population. The Sioux does do that, of course. Nearby him, a 40 coin treasure and a 30 coin treasure as well. 95 wood, that's a pretty good one, just to the north of him. If he does find that, could be laying down a trading post, but the question is, he might be tempted with the market, considering he does have coin nearby. What's so funny is...
I don't think this game is going to start. I was just looking at the Twitch chat, and in chat I just see mongo10 underscore. Oops, I just closed my game. Oops. Oh, now you're behind.
Oh, now you...
Oh, now you're behind.
Let me find a Twitch emote that suits the
We
situation.
need like a cert. There needs to be like a Sir Callan thing, and it says like "Oops, now you're behind" or something like that.
If like ESOC, if the ESOC channel ever gets subscribers and then therefore can have custom emotes, yeah, well, certainly if I got a subscription, I know there's a number of emotes I'd have like an Azamk emote, I'd have an overlay emote, I'd have Cowhacks emote. I think that'd be the same one as the Azamk emote.
Yeah, we just drop him, or we can just press leave game.
Leave game. I used to think that when that leave game if a big box came up and it said, like, you could leave the game by clicking the leave game box, I used to think that if you click that button, you wouldn't lose any ELO or power rating.
I see.
But that's not the case.
That's not the case. That's correct.
Yeah,
well, unless it's before 2 minutes of a hosted game from game browser.
True. True. True.
True that.
True.
But yes, if there ever gets to be a point where there's an Age of Empires stream with emotes, there definitely needs to be a Sir Callan emote.
Papa Rex, Baby
there
Rage.
Needs to be a Papa Rex emote.
That'd be Ryan Tilt, I reckon.
Yep. There needs to be something to do with the overlay.
Yep.
There needs to be... What else are like iconic things? Something with Garja.
Gaia,
the
Aztec
Garja guy. It's like just like a little Aztec guy reading a book or something.
An Aztec guy reading a book.
That's what the Garja one would be.
Yep.
It'd be like Garja guide, like this. Garja guide, and then it would it'd make like a little Aztec guy like sitting in a chair with his legs crossed reading like a book. That's what I imagine it being.
Yep. Oh, what else is there?
What else is memorable?
I think we got a good selection.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You need to join the game. mongo10
Apparently, I'm only complaining about teepees because it's flavor of the month. I don't know. I think teepees are here to stay.
Yeah, I agree. In the current meta, anyways. By the way, join Mongo's game.
I don't. Is that realistically changing?
What, the TP meta?
Yeah.
No. Not without changes to the cost or hit points or the trading post in general. You'd have to nerf the meta for people to stop doing it. I even think people would build trading posts if they were 250, honestly.
Yeah. Why trading posts have always been this way, though, aside from costing 50 extra wood on vanilla and on some earlier patches, and on some fan patches. Why is it only now, that they're like so widespread and Yeah.
Well, TPs have only been widely used, or have only been widely used since they changed to 200 wood on robot patch, right?
Yeah.
Which came out in 2011, 2010? 20,
Which
whenever AoE 3 became available on Steam. I don't know. It's an interesting thing, right?
It is interesting, yeah. But in the south of the map, in the colour red, we do have Zuta Zuta, the British player, starting with 300 wood, does pick himself up 30 coin. Might be tempted to go for a market because of that, but probably not. Probably just going to stick to the 2 manas, or the mana start there. Then we see 2 going down right away. But there he is, British, and also going to pick up 50 coin. Nice for him. The surrounding treasures, though, a scout, a settler, he'll be pretty pleased about that, and 80 food. All actually really quite good treasures, but the Sioux player does find himself a 95 wood right off the bat, and does have 100 wood. He's going to pick up his crate there. He's now doing that, and I imagine he's going to collect a tiny bit more wood. Nope, already slamming it down. There is a trading post. Sioux does get to start with a trading post in this game, and that is a big deal here. That was a really nice wood treasure to find. And, there are plenty of treasures nearby for the red player, and that'll be good as well. But off to a good start is the Sioux player. Here he is in the north of the map, in the colour blue, Zuta Zuta. This is another... I actually really like this matchup as well. The Sioux-British dynamic is a very fun one.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's pretty interesting in general, just because, I mean, we talk often about Sioux and, like, what their kind of weaknesses are. Unbelievable. If the Sioux Explorer gets here in time to kill this, okay. I was actually going to be visually upset if the Sioux War Chief had time to collect a 90 wood treasure, build a trading post, and then run over and steal a treasure. It was going to be absolutely disgusting. That said, he's still going to be able to kill LookTom's Explorer with his Renegado and the Sioux War Chief.
Ouch.
But
yeah.
Sioux problems. Hashtag Sioux problems. But yeah, like you mentioned, this matchup is pretty good. This is one where... to be quite frank, it's kind of like a Ken Sioux raid and harass enough while establishing a TP line, and can Brits make like one big timing push, because Brits, when they have enough hunts, are kind of a monstrous civ to deal with, and this is a map where you consistently do have enough hunts, I think, for Brits to be comfortable operating. So we'll have to see. Maybe he'll do some sort of aggressive like musket rush. There's plenty of options for the British player here, and we'll have to see which of those options LookTom opts for.
Yeah, sorry, I'm distracted. Someone just knocked on a door. I don't know if you heard that.
No, I couldn't hear it.
I don't think it's for me anyway. What do we see here? So Sioux player now going to be picking up 75 coin as well. Does take out the Explorer there, so British going to be denied his excellent treasures that are nearby as well. Only going to be getting his food, and that is going to help him age up a little bit quicker. But yeah, going to be tough. I'm not sure what to say other than that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Like you mentioned, the hardest thing is I wish we could see individual player line of sight, right? Because if you take a look at the total line of sight that we've seen here so far, 80 or 90% of it has been from the Sioux player. If we recall where the Explorer for Red was, he went like out here, and then I think he came out here and found a treasure, and then he ran back to his base and died, right? So he hasn't actually scouted out much of the map. Picking up this native scout will actually help him significantly reveal a lot more of the map that he's currently missed out on. But right now he's definitely in the dark, doesn't know a ton of what's going on, other than his opponent has a trading post and is playing the Sioux civilization. So what's the WTF do we reckon by LookTom for?
I'm not sure.
What the fudge? What the Frank?
Maybe it's his mouse. What's wrong? What's wrong?
What's wrong, LookTom? I rev. My Explorer. I'm not sure what he means.
Does he mean that he alt-D'd or something?
Maybe he does. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But either way, yeah. I don't think he did. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Mongo currently in the process of taking a second trading post And we'll see how many of these he's going to take, what card he's going to be sending. Perhaps could be sending something like 700 wood as his first shipment here in the Second Age. Or maybe he'll just do something, like 4 Axe Riders or something like that. Sood has lots of options here. I suspect that he's going to be taking a whole bunch of TPs, though, just given the fact that he's already starting this one. And it looks like LookTom also going to be taking at least one of these trading posts, trying to secure some of those resources for himself. So we'll see what ends up happening. Mongo, though, currently gathering...
Slow aging, by the looks of it, is Mongo. Only just up to the colonial age there, and aging up with some wood crates on the floor. Going to be quite nice for him, and with that, I imagine, as you mentioned, slam down some trading posts, and possibly if we switch over to text being researched. Actually, I'm not even sure if that tech does show the stagecoach one, but quite likely to be getting that, I would imagine. 700 wood, though, does come out for the British player. That is his first shipment, and so far in this game, we see that the villagers, after the age up was put in queue, switched to wood. We have found the resources for a barracks here, and the 700 wood, I imagine, will result in some manor houses. Steel traps is currently being researched, but the British here doesn't look too aggressive. Maybe it was some sort of musket timing then.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the right thing to do. If you're not going to play super aggressively, I mean, he could have played super aggressively, right? But if you're not going to play super aggressively, he's got to come up with some sort of a plan to deal with these trading posts. This map in particular, because of the very large spread on all of the trading posts, actually makes for kind of a difficult... it's kind of a tall task to actually be able to deal with these. If you look at how spread out they are on the map, it's really going to be a rough thing for him to contest all of these locations. So I'm quite curious to see what he'll do. We see a corral coming down for Mongo, going to start off the raiding, and it looks like it's just going to be pikes for the time being. Perhaps he's just going to do like a whole bunch of longbow pike and try and control these TPs. And after he's gotten the TPs controlled, senses that his opponent is aging up, will do something like make some sort of timing push. But with that being said, a couple pikes out on the floor, currently attacking this one trading post and going to try and slow down the eco of the Sioux player.
This coyote. He needs to notice it. I suppose the explorer's got him there, and you're going to clean that up. What's Sioux up to? Some more huts going down. 700 gold. Is this some sort of fortress age?
It looks like it, right? It looks like it should be something Fortress Age. He's going to have tons of resources coming in from these stagecoach TPs, and with the 700 wood is going to be able to probably support this. He might just play like Age 2 bow rider, set and bow or something like that as well. It's kind of hard to tell at this point. Because of all the resources he has unspent, he actually has the potential to do a number of things here. As his resources continue to stockpile, though, it looks like he's going to be opting more for something along the lines of aging here eventually.
Yeah, some bow riders coming out, though, are going to try and harass these pikes or slow them down a bit there. A couple of longbowmen are going to be quite useful. The explorer!
He should have just kept going with it.
Yeah,
He could have finished it.
it was so close. Probably going to bring a villager out there. Yeah, 2 villagers now going to come out and fix that. What is he up to, though? We don't see any more units. Units in queue right now. There aren't anything in these war huts. Slowly, the resources for the blue player. I don't know what he's up to. Is he already...
Yeah, he's aging now. He's definitely aging.
Is he?
Text being researched.
Oh, text being researched, yeah.
He's aging with the fast age politician as well. So,
Alright.
Should be up fairly soon. The one good thing here about what LookTom is doing is at least he's taken 2 of these trading posts. So if you think about what the current TP spread is, of course he's built a lot of manors just because he's Brits. He's got some decent villager population coming from that. He does have 2 of the trading posts as well. And building on the trading sites not only gives him the resources coming from them, but it also denies the Sioux player Mongo the opportunity to get those back in his favor as well. So pretty smart by him to take those TPs. And now the Sioux player's aged up, and this is kind of the scary timing, right? And Sioux's going to have things like Wakina rifles coming. He's going to have potentially upgraded bow riders and all of those kinds of things. So we can see LookTom starting to construct the Great Wall of Britain here.
Hadrian's Wall.
This is quite the wall, isn't it?
It's quite expansive. It covers almost, well, certainly his chart. He's sectioned off this giant layer of map for him, taking his own slice.
He doesn't want any visitors inside this wall. Unfortunately for him, while he's constructing this wall, while he's playing SimCity in his base, Sue is starting to amass a fairly scary-looking army. If you take a look at the shipments sent, he's got some dog soldiers. He's got a bunch of Wakinas starting to come, and currently has a couple of bow riders in the mix as well. So he needs to be careful here. This is a fairly scary army, and here come these dog soldiers looking to engage.
Yeah, they do, and those Wakina trying to get up close, trying to get those pikemen down, trying to snipe them off. And he doesn't really have very many pikemen. I don't really think that those are going to be too useful for very long defending against dog soldiers. These things, 700 hit points each and 35 with a 1.5 damage multiplier. Very, very strong units there, and the Wakinas are going to very easily be able to pick off these pikemen, and they're the only thing really protecting these longbowmen. I think Minutemen are going to have to come out here, and he's going to have some extra sort of anti-cavalry shipment. These dog soldiers and axe riders coming in as well. I think these longbowmen are toast, and I think this red army here it's not going to be anymore.
He is just hung out to dry. These longbows are going down very quickly. Look at the strength of those dog soldiers, just ripping through the longbows, combined with a couple axe riders coming from the shipment as well. We can see he does have good infrastructure, has the stable up, looking to try and build some hussar or something, but I don't think he's going to have the resources. I don't think he's caught quite the economy to be able to stabilize off this. And behind this, Sue's still got 3 TPs. He's got all of his own infrastructure established, 2 war huts, a stable of his own, and things are looking very, very difficult for LookTom here now.
Yeah, he is all built up, all of the villagers inside there. Does have a few down to the south gathering wood, but if Blue looks for them, he could quite easily have them build up as well. I think the only reason they're still able to gather is he's not actually aware of their existence. By the looks of it here, gonna go clean up the trading post. LookTom now up to the Fortress Age.
Yeah,
Alright.
I didn't actually realize he had that in queue. That's actually somewhat comforting. Makes me think that he's got a little bit more of a chance here. I mean, Mongo's still in a great position. We can see he's going to be able to start sieging down this trading post. In fact, sieging down both of these trading sites. If he can reclaim them for himself, his economy is going to be fine. But at the very least, LookTom is aged up, does have the ability to get some upgrades, does have the ability to send something like 2 Falconets or something to start contesting the Wakina count, things like that. But still kind of an uphill battle, and as he starts losing these 2 trading posts, which were keeping more so the advantage away from Mongo economically more than anything, still a tricky way to find himself back into this game.
Yeah, Blue gonna pick up these trading posts, gonna secure the extra economy there. Has more villagers than the red player. Well, only because of the trading posts, I think. Wait, hold on, no, that doesn't factor in, does it?
No, it doesn't.
No, so Blue here, has almost a full line of stagecoach TPs and more villagers than the red player.
Yeah.
They are both up in the same age, but I think the blue player in a commanding lead.
Yeah, as a result of that. I didn't realize that he had lost that many villagers. Or perhaps he just neglected to make some in an effort to get as many military units out as possible. Yeah. But either way, yeah, like you mentioned, 29 versus 34 economic unit population, plus having a fairly significant lead in terms of the TP line, all going to prove quite in favor of the Sioux player. Now, behind this, at the very least, Brits, of course, do have some pretty good comeback potential. They do have the strength of the manors still working for him. He can build lots of those still. He does have this full wall completed, and although it does have some holes, it will at least alert him to the fact that the location that his opponent is coming from, which does provide him some comfort in doing things like this, gathering out in the middle of nowhere with very little line of sight or protection. So if Brits can continue to contest the TP line and build up some sort of mass, he maybe still has at least a little bit of a comeback potential, but I think we're going to see another push in here from Mongo in the fairly near future. Has his fire pit already established with plenty of villagers nearby, and I think it's just a matter of time before Mongo, does something decisive here in terms of the fight. But if he doesn't do it soon, LookTom at least has an opportunity to start to catch back up.
Yeah, the longer this game goes on, the more time Brits has to get back on his feet, get the manners down, and as you mentioned, get lots of extra villagers out. Could catch up, get his army all upgraded, which he has already started doing, or has fully managed to do, actually. They're like veteran longbowmen and muskets, dragoons coming out, adding to his composition, and it's just going to be more stable generally. The blue player has just received, by the looks of it, cavalry combat coming in, so the strength of his elite axe riders there, the dog soldiers and the bow riders. Does it affect bow riders?
Yes.
Yes, all going to be a lot stronger. But yeah, decisive. That's the thing I am wondering. When is he going to do something? Is he waiting for another shipment? Is he waiting for a batch of units? Some Tushunku Prowlers.
Yeah, how often do you see Tushunku Prowlers in
Stealth and trample mode? Not very often.
Are they in trample mode, or is that just the way they walk when they're in stealth?
I think it might be that. I don't know if you can necessarily be in both at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're also the only stealth cavalry unit in the game. Isn't that true?
I think that is true. So I'd love to see them sneak up on a Falco.
Yeah, it would be kind of great.
Yeah, looks like Red has managed to find quite the mongo10. Okay, this makes sense now.
Yeah.
This is why I was holding back for so long. He has something industrial in mind. What capabilities does the Sioux have in the industrial age?
I'm curious. I'm just looking to see what he's got. He's got command skill, which basically improves the war chief in combat, gives him a boost to all units around him. He just has 4 dog soldiers as well.
Makes him basically a shogun.
Yeah, basically. But this is kind of an opportunity for LookTom to push in here. I mean, if you take a look at Mongo's army, it's not really that impressive. He does have the Tushunka hiding in the back, but this is potentially an opportunity for LookTom to do something decisive with his army. We say it often. If you consider what the Sioux player has just done, right? He's essentially just sent.
Mongo's a lot of resources.
Yeah, I mean, he's 3,200 resources that he's just spent on nothing. Plus, he's got another 3,500. Yeah,
2k food, 1k gold. It doesn't look like he has enough wood really to get the upgrades in, but he could put a ton of villagers on. Oh, is he spawning dog soldiers? Okay.
He may do like dog soldier big button as well.
He's got 25 villagers spawning dogs. In terms of like villager seconds, how efficient is that? I guess they are industrial age, and they obviously shadow tech every time you age up there. So they got 46 hand attack and 907 hit points. The question is, how quickly do they spawn? Is it worth the villager time? That is the thing to think.
He's also got the resources to just use the big button right now as well.
Yeah, maybe that's the intention.
Yeah,
like cavalry combat.
He just dumped a huge chunk of food. He must have just called it.
Maybe he was waiting for a specific time, because it's like every couple of minutes you get an extra dog soldier or something.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he was waiting for. But lots of cavalry here. This kind of makes sense, right? Sending the cavalry combat and now command skill and now spawning dog soldiers. Yeah, there's a ton of dog soldiers struggling to get out of all the dance villages.
They're stuck like in the dance of the village. But there are currently 10 dog soldiers out for Mongo.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think his next shipment will be like cavalry hit points, the colonial age one? No, 4 dog soldiers. Surely that would be
probably 4 dog soldiers. They have a cap. What's the build limit on dog soldiers? Do you know?
I wasn't aware there was a cap.
Yeah, I think you can only make so many. I think you can only dance for so many at the fire pit.
All right, and then after he's finished dancing, I suppose he could put it on war dance once he finds an engagement, or even just retask the villagers to something else. He's got some coin mines nearby. Could retask them. There's enough coin there for the time being. Yeah, lots. And with these cavalry running around in stealth, I think that's again a lull LookTom into a false sense of security here. He's not gonna think that the blue army is as big as it is, and these stealth cavalry could cause a huge problem if they appear out of nowhere.
Yeah, definitely could. The more questionable thing, of course, is how are you going to deal with the dog soldiers? That's always going to be the tougher part.
Yeah, that's the bigger question. This wall is paper thin as well. 1,500 hit points really isn't very many. I think this wall could be zerged down very, very quickly. It looks like we do have some fighting going to begin. The dragoons are going to try and get a little bit of damage there. Very good against cavalry, of course. Going to get behind this wall. A little gap in the wall, actually.
Yeah. All this time though, the longbow's doing like tons of damage
damage.
from behind this wall, and now with the muskets coming forward, all the cavalry units on top of the dragoons. LookTom's actually dumping some pretty good DPS out there. Here come the Tashunkas.
Yep, there they are. Did he try and bug them through again? Was that his little neat trick again?
Looks like it's just not gonna matter. Too many dog soldiers. Those dog soldiers, just so insane.
Yeah, they're crazy.
907 hit points.
I am curious as to how quickly they train. I'd really like to know.
It's based on how many bills you have dancing, right? And I mean, I was watching it for a little while. It looked like it was around, I don't know, 30 or so seconds. But yeah, I do wonder. Like, I mean, you can think of your villagers dancing at that point as a resource, right?
Mm. Well, they're valued at 300 gold, which is... I don't really think that's just a completely arbitrary number of gold to value them at, I think, but... Yeah.
Although I think it's a fairly reasonable value.
Well, they're valued at 3 score, aren't they? That's what it's representing.
Yeah. Which I think is, like, if you compare them to, like, the French equivalent, the Cuirassier, right? That seems about right. They're, like... They seem about like the power strength of Cuirassiers. They do fill slightly different niche roles because Cuirassiers have the splash damage and no multiplier, and the War Dogs do just have the 1.5 multiplier against infantry. They're more a Lancer type unit.
Yeah.
It's hard to compare them directly, but in terms of just like power strength...
They just one spank a longbow. They just walk up to him and just stab him and he's dead.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. It takes him 2 hits.
46 times 1. Yeah, it's... I mean, he's doing like 60-ish, 70-ish a crack.
Yeah, it has a range resist, not a melee. So.
Yeah. Still, a lot of damage. They cut through them very, very quickly.
Yeah, 50 damage times... Wait, the ones in base have less because of the dance not being active there. Yeah, but it does look like game number 3 going to Mongo.
I just realized I've been using my Amsterdam city for all of this.
What are you playing at, Zulu?
I know, it's a mistake, isn't it? Very clearly a mistake. Very clearly a mistake. Someone's saying this is a Saturday beatdown.
I was thinking maybe in some distant time in the future there'd be a whole week of Smackdown with like really funky names. You'd have like Monday Madness, Tuesday something, Wednesday Whack Stomp. Like,
you have to come up with 2 for T's, right? Tuesday and Thursday.
Yeah.
Tuesday trashings and...
It'd be like Thursday. It'd have to have the it'd be like Thursday Thrash Up.
Yeah. Thursday Thrash Down.
Thursday Thrash Down, yeah.
Friday Night Fights.
Sunday... Smackdown, I guess. At the end of the week would have ran out of ideas if people be okay with Smackdown. Sunday Smackdown.
Alright. Join on up. Oh, Mirko's online. I haven't seen Mirko online in a long time.
Who?
Mirko 04.
Mirko. I know that name.
Yeah, he's an old Hope clan player. Let's... What?
Yukon.
Yukon.
What if they... PogChamp.
I wish they worked in here. You know which one I've been working into my vocabulary this time around?
Oh, what one?
Dan's game.
Dan's game, yes. This is the natural progression. Like all the ones you've learned have been like, it's like how a child learns language, right? They learn the most useful ones quickly. Yeah. And I think you're going through the exact same sort of learning curve I think I went through. Like Dan's game is the next most useful one to know about.
It's very useful. It represents a very good emotion.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure what emotion it represents, but I know exactly when to use the emote.
Just like utter disgust.
Yeah, that's it. Disgust. That's exactly it.
Just like, I can't believe this is happening.
The next one you need to work out is what face.
What's that one look like? What face? Yeah, I've seen that guy before. Comic K likes to use that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It looks like LookTom going to be going back to the Ottomans, the Ottomans.
Ottomans.
FF with the Ottomans. How original.
You know, all of the videos on YouTube that have, I'm not sure. Okay, so all of the videos on YouTube that have lots of views are the ones that feature the Ottoman flag in it, and you'd think that's because, noobs like to search up how to play Ottoman. But I don't think that's true. I just think, like, Turkish people really, really like clicking on videos with their flag on it.
Could be.
Because whenever I check the demographics on it, it's always Turkey, just, like, at the top. Like, that represents the majority of the views. So, there you go. If you wanna get a video on YouTube, play the Ottomans.
FF with the Ottomans. How original.
Is that like a? Is that like?
That's a Says Master quote.
Oh. Ain't no skills in making builds.
Yep, comes from the same video.
Does it? Oh, I need to see this after Smackdown, this video. But here we do have the Ottomans in the south of the map, in the colour red, playing as LookTom, or being piloted by LookTom. Most likely going to be slamming down that trading post right off the bat. There it goes there, and picking himself up at 30 coin just before he puts it down. And absolutely is going to get the passive XP. There's no doubt about that. He's got it all the way to come around all the way again. But maybe you build the one up. I'm not sure. The one next up here.
It's hard to say, right? I don't suspect he would get it.
I don't think it matters hugely either way, right?
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
The only thing you
this
have
one's
to
certainly more defendable.
Yeah, that's the thing you have to consider, right? Is whether or not you're going to be able to defend it. And against a civ like India, maybe that takes some consideration. But after all, you are auto. You probably can dictate the pace of the game. It just depends on what you want to do and how aggressively you want to play, right? So.
Yeah. But meanwhile, India does not build a trading post. Obviously, wants to spend the wood on villages, but does get a head start. Therefore, looking around the resource-rich area. Well, the treasure-rich area, I should say. Ottoman does pick himself up a scout. He's going to be pretty pleased about that, I would imagine. But here, the treasure brawl begins. Zuta, 90 coin is being picked up there by Mongo. And also going to start an 80 XP treasure as well. The European Explorer does come in here. Looks like he's going to go into hand mode. Looks like, yeah, just attack the Guardian, surely, at this point. I don't think it's going to reset.
Yeah, you probably could. Well, no, now it is going to reset.
Yeah, okay. But still going to pick up the treasure.
Yeah.
But probably the right thing to do to get out there. You know, the Explorer that hasn't got
no.
quite as many hit points.
Look at, he's going to be able to sneak back in here, perhaps.
Ooh. Yeah, imagine you're that Explorer. You've just scared off one guy and an elephant, and then, oh no, this guy isn't going to come and get it. But his buddy then just turns up behind you.
Actually not going to be the case. LookTom
No,
is going to be able to secure that 80 XP treasure, but at the same time, Mongo did pick up the 90 coin treasure that was just up and to the left of it, so pretty good.
So good treasures for both players. But what else do we have here? Actually, I think most of the reasonable treasures that that you would want to pick up have sort of already. There's a settler up for grabs.
Yeah.
There's a CDB as well.
This one's really good, but it takes a long time to take.
It's quite difficult, and you run the risk of you invest your crack shot into that and then come back later when the crack shot's recharged, which is, by the looks of it, what LookTom is looking to do, LookToming to do. If that gets caught, if the Indian player finds that or sees that being gone for, could pick himself up a nice steal there.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's definitely now it's at the point where he's used his crack shot, right? That he needs to stay in the area. Like you said, he's invested that resource of the crack shot into starting to take this. And at the same time, he doesn't want to allow the other guy to pick it up as well. So it looks like he's going to start taking this very slowly. I mean, he can, if he plays it right, Oh, there the resets of the thing. But you can tell he's trying to leash it as far back as possible, right? So the one polar bear just continues to reset.
Yeah.
And as long as he stays in the back here, like, see, he's going to be able to reset this other polar bear, and then he can go and start shooting at again.
Yeah. He's got to be careful here. If he shoots it one more time, it might run out. It might depend. Sometimes it runs in the other direction. But the neat little trick here: if you shoot it and then immediately right-click back, you'll get the Guardian to sort of not realize where you are. And it works really well. They're going to pick himself up 300 coin.
That was
really nicely.
well done. Yeah, that was very well executed by LookTom. Basically showing like the most efficient way of maintaining as much hit points as possible. That was really good creeping by him, picking up that 200 coin treasure.
Yeah, really nice.
But what do we got going down? Agrifort, defensive Agrifort, super defensive Agrifort going down in mongo10's base. And as a result, any aggressive play that the Ottoman player is looking to do going to be hamstrung by the fact that that defensive wonder has been placed down right on top of Mongo's base. We do see 2 villagers coming forward. It looks like Tom is still going to try and play somewhat aggressively.
Are we going to see the double racks Jans again?
Perhaps. I think Jan Avis is perhaps a little bit more safe here. Or maybe even Jan Huss or something like that. I don't in general like making too many Huss against Indian early in the game just because they have so many strong anti-cavalry options, and especially with a civ like Ottoman where you don't have a great eco behind it, investing into Huss can be a little bit risky. So 5 Janissaries coming out.
5 Jans, wow. Oh, wow, okay. Okay,
there we go.
Another very aggressive... well, what's he going to make? Clearly Jans.
Yeah. And I'm just not sure what his follow-up is going to be. I mean, take a look at his resource bank. He's got lots of coin, most of that coming from the big coin treasure he got.
Just got the one villain. Oh, they're all going to switch to... No.
I suspect we'll see 700 wood as his next card, and then he can decide which other military structure he's going to make at that point, right?
Maybe this is just for a nice, 5 jack. Yeah, this is sort of like a 10 Jan sort of early timing, sort of walk around and harass your opponent a bit. I'm not necessarily sure if you need the 5 Jans to do that. Well, maybe just the 5 from the back barracks on its own. But either way, it does have a sizable mass of Jans here, and that's going to be really useful. I'm going to come in here and take out the trading post, I would imagine there, and certainly has the ability to really contest his opponent. Has not much can stand up to the 10 Jans this early on here for the time being. So it does have that advantage, certainly, with the Jan shipment.
Yeah. Interesting to note, Mongo has actually started building his consulate before a wood shipment has come, which makes me think he may just be sending 300 export as his first go.
There it is.
And we'll see what that ends up resulting in. We can see a couple Gurkhas have been trained as well. And a response has been built here now. Artillery Foundry coming up for LookTom next.
Yeah, going to add in some extra units here, and certainly the Abbas gun's going to be pretty good against the Gurkha, and it's going to round out its composition more nicely. Here, though, if we click the Alt bar, we can see a number of Janissaries quite damaged by quite a significant margin there, and it's actually lost quite a number of them just walking around trying to find villagers to shoot. And since when these 3 Gurkha, that's all he needed really to punish these Janissaries, as there was nothing really supporting them, and of course they don't have as much range as the Gurkha. The Gurkha can just walk around and punish him for bringing his units all in there like that. It doesn't look like he's managed to achieve very much with his Jans for the time being, and India in a pretty good spot at the moment. Looks like he wants to go up to the Fortress Age with the 600 gold.
Yeah. And that certainly is an option for him. If you take a look at his resource count, he's a little bit low on it right now. It also might just be to help train some units, but allying with the French consulate likely is going to mean that he's going to be training crates, and I think you're absolutely right,
Yeah.
Definitely looking like it's going to be some sort of just super defensive semi-FF, and this does open him up to potential timings, right? When we think about India holding timings and pulling units out of nowhere to hold aggressive plays, you traditionally think of the Ottoman consulate, the European Minutemen, the corresponding Indian Minutemen, perhaps the Hussar coming out as well, right? You think of all those options that India potentially has, kind of mitigated by the fact that now Mongo has the French consulate. So this is a very real timing for the Ottoman player, and with another 5 Avis guns stepping their way forward, 3 Hussar coming as LookTom's next card. The TP is down, and now all of a sudden there's one. I mean, you're not going to build the 4 Grenadiers, right? They essentially do nothing in this situation.
Well, that's so good.
Yeah, but you're crazy, Zuda. Of course we're making those. Taj Mahal coming up for Mongo, but unfortunately for him, right on top of the native scout. And LookTom knows 100% about this. He's going to be able to siege down the Agra fort, and then I think he can turn his attention over here to the right side where the Taj Mahal is currently being constructed.
Yep, and certainly push all the villagers off it, make him age very, very slowly, and even cause huge amounts of damage to it as well. India is doing the best he can with his Gurkha, trying to shoot back, trying to do as much damage as he can on those Janissaries, trying to defend what he can. That's a huge number of red units coming in here.
I'd love to see the Hussars just coming over here and starting to kill these villagers to slow down the Ajax even more. I mean, the Jans and the Avis in base are going to be able to deal with any infantry that Blue has currently. Ooh, nice stomp there, combined with the Minutemen, going to be able to put some decent DPS on the Avis guns, but at the same time, very close to getting the Ajax finished is mongo10 here. When he does get aged up, he will be able to buy himself a little bit of time with the active ability from the Taj Mahal. Still don't know that it'll necessarily matter.
Yeah, he's up now.
Yeah. We'll see whether or not he uses it immediately. It looks like the answer is not going to be immediately.
Is he, maybe there's a shipment on the way or something that he doesn't want to just randomly lose? And
that's perhaps true. I'm not sure what he could be sending, though, like, that would make him feel super comfortable. Maybe Urumi, perhaps? Does he have the resources for Urumi?
Not at the moment. He does have a lot of coin on the floor as well, which I imagine he wants to gather up, but Red not going to let him do that for the time being either. He is just sitting duck there. Where the town state is getting very, very low on health. He's already called his Minutemen by the looks of it. Ceasefire does come out, perhaps trying to prolong the life of... what is this that's just arrived?
I think he's trying to gather up the resources for
Urumi,
but I don't think he's going to have it in time.
They take a long time to send still, though, right?
Yeah, and he does. He has. Okay, there comes another set of Minutemen. He's got the 2 Howdas out, which will be able to deal with most of these Janissaries. All the Avis guns have been focused down. There's a very low number of hit points that are remaining in this town center.
Is he going for it? He's just going for the TC kill.
Yeah, I think he is.
Oh, this is ballsy, right? It's like if he can get it down, then that's going to be real good for him. But at the same time, he's going to lose a lot of I think he's going to get it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but he's going to lose the rest of his armies. It's probably not going to matter, though. I mean, more Jans and Avis is coming in. You're going to be able to help focus down the Howdas. This is a very tenuous position for Mongo to be in. Unlike the Spain game, where Otto didn't have anything going for him, he's gotten the town center down, and he's still got something going for him at this point. So, pretty scary stuff. I don't think he's going to be able to work his way out of this situation.
No, it's not Saturday Stomp Down after all.
Yep. Looks like LookTom is going to at least be able to pick up one game. We do see stable coming down. Is deleted. Mongo, I think, is on the ropes a little bit too much here. And, well, what does he got going down here? He's got a stable coming up down here. He's managed to save one of the Howdas and many of his villagers. If you take a look at the economic unit populations, it is 22 to 19, so it's not actually like it's that far off in terms of actual economic potential at this point. But at the same time, if you take a look at the military, 28 to 6, right? And realistically, the consulate's going to go down. These 3 houses are going to go down. Pretty much everything in the Indian player's base is going to go down. And sure, he's got some stuff coming up down here, right? He's got himself a castle, he's got himself a stable coming up, but all of these villagers, the longer they spend just running around the map, aren't actually really doing anything.
Yeah, and this stray Abbas gun looks like he's searching for them. Has he found? Doesn't look like he's going to find them for the time being. But obviously, the red player does know they're out there, and you can't ignore the fact that, as you pointed out, these houses here, the console that was in his base, all of the buildings that he'd had throughout the course of the game now, again, just going to fall down. Even the Taj Mahal there is completely vulnerable. As splendid as it looks, out in the middle of Yukon, not going to last much. Well, it's inevitably going to die. It can't defend itself. What does he... Is there any merit to staying in this game? He's, certainly got the castle down. He is rebuilding his infrastructure there. It still has a number of villagers. Not, well, significantly. There's some Urumi.
Yeah, I mean, the Urumis have to get the perfect engage, right? They have to basically not be seen and get right on top of the Jans and the Avis. I don't think it's going to happen. And now, unfortunately, LookTom should see this, and that, I think, is going to just spell utter defeat. I mean, that's basically the rest of his eco is going to go down there to that 4 Hussar raid. The Urumi coming in, they do get in a decent position, do kill most of the Avis guns with their first couple swashbuckles, which is going to result in him probably cleaning up most of this. The Howdah looks like it's going to go down. No, maybe he's going to even keep the Howdah alive. I mean, it's something, right? At least he killed up most of the rest of the infantry, but at the same time, he also lost 10 villagers over here. And now if you look at the economic unit population, it's 11 to 25.
Yeah, and behind this, Red now building the trading line as well, and probably, is upgraded. No, it's not. But it could be, certainly can get the upgrade.
Certainly can, yeah.
ATP.
He sent ATP and is going to be able to take the whole line. There's the upgrade, right? So.
Yeah. Is he going to kill it just before it goes up? And that's a big deal, kind of, since, of course, ATP does give all these trading posts a ranged attack. Going to deny that and take that out pretty quick. But, this game is...
what happened here?
I think you might have... this happens sometimes when you use the hotkey that selects all of your military. That includes the Explorer, and he'll just walk off from his unfinished building. That's not necessarily what happened, but certainly stopped building it for whatever reason.
This game is actually still pretty close, right? Look at the scores. LookTom has actually transitioned into mostly Hussar. He's at 25 economic unit population. He hasn't built he hasn't built a mosque, rather, right? So he's actually not going to be improving that much his economic unit potential here. And he did get Stagecoach with only 1 TP left alive. And now Mongo's going to start building the TP line. So even though he doesn't have a town center for himself, he's actually starting to get back in the game a little bit economically. So I don't know. He's got a couple Howdahs out. He's maybe going to be able to.
He's beating them back. That's true.
This is the second super scrappy Ottoman game we've seen.
Do you think these Howdahs can pull it off? Magical Howdah. The Urumi gonna go into combat with the.
You can't lose the Urumi for free. That's for sure. That's unfortunate as well. Avis guns popping out right on top of the Howdah is going to be able to shoot them back. He did manage to kill quite a few of the Hussar before losing some of the Urumi. It looks like he's going to be able to pick off at least a couple more of the Hussar. One of them very low. Will go down. Yep, it looks like. And 2 more Howdahs. I guess he's getting out some Howdahs. That's actually somewhat impressive.
Yeah, bare Howdahs coming out. These things are not cheap. 350 gold, 250 food. These things mean business.
This is like a little Howdah factory down here is basically what it is. Right? It's a place for him to ship crates to and train Howdahs and gather that hunt. I wonder also how close he is to having a Taj Mahal
ceasefire.
Back. Yeah, it's probably pretty close. And actually, like I mentioned, right, this is actually a pretty big deal because ATP and Stagecoach was invested by
Look, if he just heads over here, that's a big deal.
Yeah. What? What? He resigned. He's just fuck it, I can't win.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that it was over, but those Howdahs were just absolutely raining terror down.
Yeah, I mean, the Abbas guns aren't that good against them. I mean, they're good, but
yeah.
But he hasn't got any army there. I guess actually, if you look now, all of his units are down.
Yeah.
If he does head over to this location, I can't flare it anymore. He's going to have to move those villagers away, and then he's not going to be able to train any more units.
Yeah, he's also
That
out of crates. His explorer is dead, and he doesn't have probably the opportunity ever to secure any more of the trading route, right? And that's kind of a big deal. The fact that he kind of made that blunder with the trading post is a pretty big deal. How to do that? That's pretty good. That's a good one. But yeah, that was wow. That was such a scrappy game. I thought Mongo was dead. Like, look at the map. And if you just looked at the mini map and you said, okay, who do you think won, and you don't look at like who actually resigned, you would probably say, oh, like red probably won, right? He's still got a TC.
Yeah.
It looks like he's got more stuff out on the map even still.
This just looks like a bunch of villages if you look at the mini map. This blue blob.
And the Howdah factory actually ended up being okay. Managed to get out just enough Howdahs, and his control with the Howdahs, to be fair, was very good. He was kiting with them quite well. They are pretty fast. They do have an absolutely massive... Look at their damage, right? 72 damage with a 2.8 multiplier against cavalry.
Yeah.
A very good counter, and truthfully, what LookTom needs at this point, right, is he needs some Abyss guns to be able to deal with those. And if you look at his coin total, like, he doesn't have any coin. But still, how often do you see a 17-minute game end with a score of 85-66? That's like you hit those scores at like 6.5 minutes into the game, right? Like,
And pure combat.
yeah, that was actually such an entertaining game to watch. It was such a fun one to watch.
That's the highlight of this Smackdown, yeah.
That was a fun one to watch. But
4-0. Perhaps it is a Smackdown after all.
Yeah, it was a beatdown after all. I mean, we have to realize Mongo, I mentioned this before game number 1, before you were here, right? That Mongo got very far in the previous tournament. I think he lost in the round of 8. Is that correct? Do you remember?
I'm not sure.
The quarterfinals? I believe he was a quarterfinalist, right? So he was one of the top 8 active players for the tournament, which is pretty impressive. I always thought of Mongo as just like... I never really considered him until all of a sudden he's like in the quarterfinals and he had really, really close games with really high-level players. I want to actually look and see who he lost to now, because I don't remember. Or someone in chat maybe knows. Maybe someone in chat knows. I'll look at the winter bracket stage. Well, that bracket doesn't do me any good.
I'm looking
for the bracket, but I can't see the bracket.
Mongo10 ESOC into YouTube. Mongo10 vs Kanisi quarterfinals.
Oh yeah, I think that was the quarterfinal that it was. So yeah, he lost to Kanisi.
Beat Good Speed in the round of 16.
Yeah,
I Am Soldier in the round of 32.
Yeah, there you go. Like that's impressive. Like beating Soldier in Good Speed on your way to losing to the eventual 3rd place person. Like that's pretty good. Like there's no shame in that for a tournament result. And I mean, obviously showing his skill with other civs here and his prowess in these games as well. So a really good series by Mongo. 2 of those games, the Spain auto game and the Indian auto game, very entertaining to watch.
And to this day, one of the most popular Smackdowns on my channel is Azamp versus Mongo10.
Oh, is it? Interesting. Pretty good set of games.
Yep.
But I am going to do a replay, I believe. I think I saw that a whole bunch of other people were submitting replays, so I'm going to do at least one of those today.
All right.
And then pizza, the ever popular Zuda pizza time. So.
Are you up for some tabletop simulator later if we can get a group together?
Yes. Of course.
Are you going to stream it if we get a group together?
Yeah, I might do.
All right. Well,
we'll see what happens.
You heard it here first. I will maybe see you later on.
Alright, sounds good. I'll talk to you later.
See ya.
Alright, replay time. Let me head over to the thread. Let me pick up the next replay. And at the same time, let me get the UI uninstalled. I don't need all of this junk. This was me trying to fix my retarded PC, which, as you've noticed, is actually fixed. Or maybe you haven't noticed, but I've noticed is actually fixed. Or seems to be fixed, knock on wood. It made it through this entire stream. It hasn't crashed at all this week, and that makes me pretty happy. So let's see, where are we at? Last week, if I remember correctly, we did a matchup between Stefano Skirmish and somebody. So, oh, there goes the policeman's. Alright, so the next one that has been submitted is by Finn Golfin. So we'll be doing Finn's game today. Download this replay. And we'll put it in here, my documents. Documents, my games, age 3. Save game. Okay. Once again, I'm just going to... Oops, I didn't uninstall. Uninstall. Okay, and we'll just start on ePatch, and if it doesn't end up being EP, then we will see what patch we need to go to. Alright, let's take a look. Recorded games. Did I not put... Looks like I didn't put it in the right place. Documents, my games. Oh, it looks like it's in the right place here. Okay. Is it over here somewhere? Well, I can't figure out where it's supposed to be at. Save game. Looks like it should be there. But I don't... That's definitely not where it's at. Alright, let's try documents. Looks like it's supposed to be there, strangely enough. We've got like 2 different My Docs folders going on. Alright, one sec, sorry about this. My games. Save game. Okay. In here. That should be the right place. Alright, here we go. Okay, so the matchup is submitted from Finn Golfin, and he says, Zuda, this is a Jatmir. We're both around the same level. What can I do better? Thank you. I am my pace, so we're going to be looking for my pace. We'll see whether it's Robot Patch or EP. Alright, so it's my pace we're looking at. It's playing against Industrious, and it looks like the map is Siberia. Good old Siberia. The Japanese player. Over here, my pace is the guy that we're going to be watching. It's a 200 wood start, so he is going to need to be able to chop a bunch more wood should he want to do some sort of consulate. Has his consulate coming down early. That's good. Villagers going over here. Don't gather your coin crate. Okay, it looks like you know that. It's just a little bit of a mistake. Have a nice wood treasure and base. That's always useful. Using your orchard rickshaw to scout. That's something that even I don't do very well. Coming across another pretty nice wood treasure. All these are good things. Overgathered a little bit of wood, not the biggest deal. Not overly bummed out about this. I would make, if you're going to scout like you did here, I would make sure you scout like back here, because like there's a hunt back there that it would be nice to know about, etc. A little bit of contention going on over here. I didn't actually see who ended up stunning these. It looks like he did, and if that's true, that's good for you. Just start attacking him. Make sure you're standing right on top of this in case there's a divine strike. Like if there's a divine strike there, you want to make sure you get it. He got it. It's fine. Looks like you need to build your shrine anyways. Got a villager still misrallied here on wood. Clean up some of these little things. I wouldn't get too carried away with where this guy ends up going. I would just make sure he clears out like these little spots back here, and then get him built in the position. Okay, no issues with your age up, didn't have any idle time, or with your construction of shrine. Don't spend too much time just standing here shooting him. It's more important for you to identify where the hunts are that you're going to need to shrine, and identify other treasures. This map has got tons of good treasures. Lots of things that you could be picking up, like stuff like this will help you age up. There's a wood treasure, a couple coin treasures. Most of the wood treasures have been taken. I wouldn't. This is a mistake. Like you're just not scouting here now. You've got both of your monks just like blindly chasing after him. You want to have as much of the map scouted out at this point as possible. And it's a mistake that you've spent so much time just chasing him around after that failed treasure. Alright, 680. Dropping down to Teshuga. This is a very good spot for the Teshuga. I really like this. You can put barracks here, market here. It's got a really nice full wall. You're going to get a full set of hunts on that shrine as well. It's very good. Monk's a little out of position. I preach this often with Japan. Make sure you should have like one here and one that's on a hunt that's bound to be here. And then one that's on whichever hunt is furthest over here. You probably can't reach that one. No, you probably can. Might be a little too close. Your monks are a little out of position, but Siberia is a somewhat forgiving map because of just the sheer number of hunts available on it, so it's not the biggest deal. So far your mirror build looks pretty standard, pretty solid. Didn't have, this is what I'm saying, right? You don't have quite as deep of penetration as I would like to see with your shrines. I'd love to, and some of it comes down to your scouting in the early game hasn't been that good. You should have shrines hopefully back in these positions and then be working your way back here. You're doing better than he is. His penetration is almost none. Like, I'm just going to briefly show. Like, look at, he hasn't even barely even scouted over here. He doesn't have any shrine penetration, so that's a huge advantage for you. Just the fact that you're over on his side of the ice is really good. Alright, that's a pretty slow age up, but it was a coin crate start, and you didn't get a ton of help with treasures, so I don't think it's the end of the world. 600 wood coming, that's good. Should probably build your market here. I've said this before. Okay, so let's take a look at what you've got, right? You've got one monk building a shrine. Where's your other monk? Doesn't have a shrine dropped, but he's probably walking like to over here, right? Trying to get in a position where he can build a shrine. Where's he waypointed? Can I find his waypoint? Is he moving? He is moving. Okay, he's waypointed over here somewhere. I can't find it, apparently. But he's waypointed over there somewhere. But this is the point where, right, you've got one guy building, one guy walking. This is the point you drop your market. You 100% drop your market here. You get it started. You're going to have an influx of wood here coming anyways. This is a point where you can drop it down, start getting your upgrades, and still continually be building shrines with both of your monks. So the fact that, okay, well, it came down like literally 2 seconds after, but that could have come a little bit earlier. You can identify that this is going to happen. You can see this coming, and then you can preemptively build the market before you get to 150 wood. It could be coming right at that 85. So it was a little late, but it's just a recognition thing. It's not a huge deal. All Alright, good. Getting the berry upgrade first. I would get civil servants in queue next. And not blanket filters. I almost always do cherry gather 1, civil servants, cherry gather 2, blanket filters, and then imperial bureaucracy. Like that's the order that I would recommend getting the upgrades in, and then I wouldn't recommend, at least not early on, getting the second coin gathering upgrade. That's an awkward position for Iraqs. I would have preferred to see racks, or racks, like off to the right side. This is a pretty awkward spot. Just breaks up your passing between the town center. Doesn't really matter that much in a Jatmir, but it is an awkwardly placed racks. Alright, your wood is here. Gathered it up. Getting your upgrades. That's good. I would transition off of wood at this point. You've got plenty of shrine population. You're probably going to end up with too much wood, and you're not going to get out a ton of ashes. Okay, so it looks like alright, so I'm going to pause here. This is kind of like the first important point. So this is the point where in my build I normally put 2 villagers on coin and put everything else on food, and then put my shrines on coin. And specifically the reason why I do that is because if you're going to get the second coin gathering upgrade, it's 100 food and 100 wood, and to really have this many villagers gathering on coin, I think it's justifiably important to have the second coin gathering upgrade. If you're only going to have 2 villagers on coin, you don't need to get the second coin gathering upgrade. And I think your early mass is slightly stronger, and your general early eco is slightly stronger by doing that kind of look, having fewer villagers on coin, more on food, and then skipping that coin gathering upgrade. Now, that does of course mean that you will be tearing through your food a little bit heavier, and as a result, you're going to need to send your cherry archers a little bit earlier. But what I do to mitigate that is once you've stabilized a bit and you're getting out to a point where you can get 5-5-5 consistently, then you can start transitioning villagers over to coin, get the second coin gathering upgrade, and then start putting your shrines on food if you need to. That's kind of my stylistic preference of how I manage Jap's kind of early mid-game eco, and especially if you have a second safe coin mine, which you actually have a pretty safe second coin mine. And on e-patch games in general, you'll usually have a second safe coin mine. Will result in a slightly better mid-ish game as well. You have 400 export. If you're going to build the bows, build them now. I don't think it's inherently wrong to be skipping the bows if you have other plans for that export, but if you are going to build the bows and use them to pressure, it's a mistake to not be building them at 400. So as you're watching this, just know that if you are planning on building the bows, just make them at 400. You only missed it by 20 exports. Not that big of a deal. So far your gameplay here has been really solid. Like this is a really good look, really solid gameplay so far. Nothing wrong with this. Just little things that you can clean up. I feel like you're ahead at this point. Yeah, I mean you're like 8 or 9 shrines up. Alright, what's your next card going to be? That's what you should be thinking right now. What's my next card going to be? Is it going to be Ashy Attack or 600 coin? If it's 600 coin, you're planning on aging up and you want to be somewhat careful with your units. And if it's going to be Ashy Attack, you need to be starting to get in a position where as soon as that hits the floor, you can engage him. I'm not saying you're not doing those things, I'm just, for the viewers that are perhaps watching, that's what you need to be doing. Imperial Bureaucracy coming down, 840, that's fine. 600 coin, okay, so you're aging, so you want to be careful with your army here. You don't want to necessarily lose them, so you do have to consider the fact that he could be shipping Ashy Attack right now, or with his next card. It looks like you're slightly ahead in XP, so it's not happening right now. But he could potentially be shipping it, right? So you need to be careful. You need to be monitoring this. Obviously, you're ahead in this fight, so it's fine. You're ahead in mass. Let's see what he's sending. Okay, he has the card available, but he's not sending it. Why are you turning and fighting? Stop, stop, stop. Look at his army. 13 and 3. Look at my army. 14 and 7. Like, there's no reason for you to be turning and running here. It's just a mistake. You could continue to stay there and fight. Maybe you're a little put off because you're shipping 600 coin and you're wanting to be careful, but that's just, you need to get a better read on that fight. Like, the second you started running away, I could tell it was a mistake. Just by eyeballing that, I could tell that your army was much better. You could have stayed there and fought that and started applying more pressure on his shrines as a result. But either way, your 600 coin is here. You're going to be able to age up. He still hasn't sent his card. It looks like he's aging up himself. Oh no, he has. He's sent 600 coin, it looks like. No, he sent 600 wood, 4 vil, 600 coin. You're like 4 vils up on him as a result. Alright, you're both aging. You're ahead in terms of eco. You still have 2 deep, like, you should be contesting here, especially with your ashies. Like, there's no harm in keeping your ashies interested and like having them poke up here, even if you're aging, right? Because worst case scenario, he's not aging, he's sent ashy attack, and then you just run away, right? But you could be like ducking in and out of the fog here, picking off ashies and stuff, and helping preserve that shrine for a little bit longer. Instead, you're just standing here, back defensively. You should be trying to get in a position to be impactful with your units. If you have units, see how he's still like over here doing something, even if it's just like 2 or 3 ashies over here sieging shrines, right? Any of that's going to be better than just standing on top of your base. You're just not using your army right now, which is a mistake. Notice how you're both doing the same thing, but during this time, you've stood here with your army and done nothing, and he's moved around the map and killed 2 of your shrines. And as a result, he's starting to close that gap. Remember how just a couple minutes ago it was 200 to 110? Now it's 140, soon to be 150 to 180. So that gap is starting to close a little bit. Stockpiling a lot of resources. This is the point, by the way, I'm just going to mention it, that I get at least the first wood gathering upgrade. If at any point you've got this much food, there's never any harm in just sinking 50 food into getting that. You don't know if you're going to lose your market, or like maybe your cherries run out and everything starts chopping wood. It's just kind of like a safety blanket to have that wood upgrade so that you get that little extra bit of efficiency anytime you're going to start chopping. I haven't seen you get it yet, so I might have missed it, but I don't think I did. Just an aside. Make sure that you always have the resources to immediately queue up your veterancy upgrade. Okay, he's aged as well. If he's aged as well, I don't know that there's... I mean, obviously at this point you probably know that you've made the mistake, right? I mean, this is the 3rd or 4th shrine that he's killed out on the map, and you still haven't done anything about it. And even though you were very far ahead as a result, you could have been even further ahead. Okay, got the upgrade coming. You're over to Japanese isolation. That's good. You should be. That's like the 6th shrine that you've lost. You can split off your ashies here. Don't fight until your upgrade comes. Dangerous fighting. It's dangerous. Yeah, dangerous. Danger, danger, danger. Even though you've got them outnumbered here, still gonna be okay. There comes your upgrade. Looks like you're still gonna be fine. Like, I don't actually know how you lose here. Like, you should win from here. Something's gonna have to go pretty wrong if you're gonna lose. Bushido Tactics online. That's good. This is, okay, I'm going to pause here because this is a fairly critical point. So if you look at your food, like, it's starting to run out here, right? So this is when I would have like cut like 15 of these vills over to this coin mine preemptively to try and preserve this cherry orchard a little bit longer and flip my shrines over to food. You can see now how you're gathering on coin with your shrines, and you've got a bunch of villagers on food here, and this is soon going to run out, and then you're going to have like an awkward situation where you'll probably just have villagers standing around or chopping wood, and then your economy will get a little mismatched or misbalanced. I would have made that switch a little bit more preemptively, because I feel like this is going to run out, your cherries aren't going to quite be here, and then you're going to just be standing around awkwardly for a little bit. Or chopping wood or something. Or maybe even worst case scenario, you don't send cherry orchards right now. Okay, at least you send cherry orchards. That's good. Starting to contest the map. Alright, you've got age 4 in tow. He's got age 4 in tow as well. I don't know that it's wrong. Yeah, see, this is what I was talking about. This is exactly where, like, if you would have noticed that before, you could have cut a bunch of villagers over to coin, flipped your shrines over to food, and then not had this situation where you had 27 vills go idle and they all have to chop wood for 45 seconds while you wait for your cherry orchards to finish. Oh, shit. I knew that was going to happen. This is a robot patch game, wasn't it? And that's the point where that guy aged up in the patch is like, oh, wait, this isn't right. Alright, we'll get back into the game. There's the point where you aged up and the Shogunate Wonder has different XP levels and the game freaks out because it's got the wrong number. Alright, let's get back into the game. We're at the point where Orange had just aged up. There, we'll race car through some of this early stuff. We'll see if at race car speed we see anything else that looks out of place. A little bit of idle time there, like we mentioned. The coin crate start. You gathered some of your coin, that also slowed you down. Race going our way through. Chop fills chop, chop fills chop. 600 wood, 4 bill, 4 fill, I believe is what you did. He cut one of his 4 bills. He did 600 wood, 4 bill, 600 coin. I still like to send the double 4 bills. Personally. And I think as long as you're careful with your food, it's still better. Okay, still, I want to reiterate again, like, this is the point where he killed like 6 or 8 of your shrines, or like 6 of your shrines in transition, and you did nothing. And that gap got a lot closer. Like, look at it, it's 150 to 170 now. I'm just going to mention that as we continue to race car our way through. Like, you could push there. That's a situation. Let's talk about this again, because this is a situation where you just won that fight hard. Look at, he's aging up. Yeah, I realize you're aging up as well, but after you've won that fight, like, there's a very good chance that you just push in here and just probably kill him, or maybe kill one of his orchard rickshaws or something. Because if you take a look at raw populations, 96 versus 64. You're like 30 up. There's a very strong possibility that if you don't duck back for the shrine and just go into his base while he's just dropped this wonder, that you cause serious distress for him. Like, might just win the game out right there. Just a quick aside. After you won a fight, it's always a good time to push him. Alright, so this is the point we were at, right? He had just aged up. You're aging up as well. Kind of had an oh shit moment where your cherry orchards hadn't come. Look at how your eco got so out of whack here. Good thing is you've got resources in order to build like flintlock and stuff like that, if you haven't. You could get flintlock here and still have the resources to get Honored Ashigaru when you get aged up. Get a Vil back in queue. You're still slightly ahead in terms of Vils. Alright. Shogunate is up. 2 shipments in tow. 4 flaming arrows. 4 flaming arrows. That's going to be 10 flaming arrows. That's a lot. Your honored upgrade, like you should cancel that. The most important thing is getting your honored upgrade right now. And any time that you just sit with that in queue is potential time that he could come and kill you. Especially when you have Bushido as well. I know you've already researched Bushido here, right? So you can get those 8 ashes out of a single Rax anyways. Okay. Honestly, I think your biggest mistake so far this game is just your passivity. Like, you just haven't been aggressive when you've had windows to be aggressive. And identifying those windows can be difficult, but I would start working my way forward now. You've got 6 flaming arrows and you've got 4 more with a mobile shipment point online. You can start getting into a position where you could get into place to kill him here. Alright. Flintlock. Important upgrade. So I would ideally like the second that those are there, that they are being made use of, right? Ideally, you are just about to start a fight, and then 4 more flaming arrows pop out of your daimyo, and then you're in a fight, right? That would be ideal situation. Your army is definitely not in a position to do that. Has he shipped Yumis? It looks like he probably has. Yeah, he shipped 16 Yumis twice. He doesn't have the upgrades for them. He's just getting the discipline upgrade now. Assumedly, he's going to try and get the honored upgrade. As long as you have good control with your flaming arrows, it shouldn't matter. Let's oh. Okay. Well, the Shogun's out of place. Snipe him! Snipe him or he's going to recount. I mean, you still have 10 flaming arrows here, right? You should just dumpster this fight with decent flaming arrows. Make sure the flaming arrows are like actually shooting the leaders. Still have 9 full HP flaming arrows. Your spread hasn't been overly great. Looks like it's not going to matter. It actually is kind of mattering. That's not going to matter too much. You should probably build a castle at this point as well, just so that you can get the upgrade for flaming arrows. It's really cheap, actually. More of the expense is building the structure to be able to actually do the research. This is a point where you want like 5 or 6 Ashi. Like you could just have like 3 Ashi over here sieging, or hell, you could just make clubs and start sieging with clubs. Either way, like you're winning this game. You can't lose from it. Spend your resources. Look at your resource count. If you have resources to spend them. Built a stable. I don't think you should build a stable. You should have built a castle if anything, so you can get an upgrade for your flaming arrows. Shogun Tokugawa! No, not Shogun Tokugawa! More flaming arrows coming into the mix. Alright, so I'm going to say one thing to preface this. So, There's a reason why I ask for people to, in general, I think it's more helpful when you send me a loss, right? And that's very well demonstrated here. Honestly, there wasn't really any situation where you were really that far behind here, right? I think you're a better player than him. Your early game build was pretty good. Truthfully, like, it was, even though it was a pretty long game, you were always up 30 or 40 in score. You kind of just dumpstered the fights and rolled into his base and killed him, right? It's hard to say anything too constructive when you win by a very wide margin. And although, the game is 19 minutes, you won by a wide margin. It wasn't really even close. I mean, if we take a look at the post game, you're going to be ahead in resources. Yeah, you're ahead in resources. Like, you outgathered them by 1,000 or plus resources. So, I mean, you're ahead in that regard. Take a look at the military unit population, right? You're always ahead. You won every single fight convincingly. The early skirmishes, you were ahead. It's just really hard to make comments when you're always far ahead, right? It's always easier to play from a position where you're ahead. That said, there are still some things you can fix up. I think there was an opportunity, for you to be more active with your army. I mentioned it a couple times, and I think that was your biggest flaw in this game. It didn't actually end up costing you the game, but for the most part, after the early little back and forth had happened and you started aging and getting your tech going, you just sat here with your army and didn't actually use your military. And that's a big mistake in Japan Mirrors, because as I said numerous times, right, he was going out around the map, sieging your shrines down. Perhaps if we take a look at the buildings tab, we'll get an accurate view of that. Yeah, this is actually quite telling, right? So you got really far ahead in terms of shrines, and then look what happened here, right? At 8 minutes, this is where you guys about to start aging, or at least you've made up your mind that you're going to be aging. And look at what he's doing to your shrines, right? You're losing shrines, you rebuild one. He kills a third, a fourth, 2, 3, 4. He's killed 5, 6, 7-ish shrines, right? And what are you doing as a response to that? Nothing, right? You don't do anything. Your economy's better at this point, right? You're slightly ahead in eco. You're slightly ahead in the age 3 play, but even that being said, you're not actually doing anything. So the one thing I think from this game that you can really gain, or that I can really definitively say that you can work on, is that aspect of your game. The 7 to 10 minute marks being active with your army, because you just kind of sat in your base and didn't really do anything with your army and let a bunch of your shrines go down. If you take a look at the military unit population, while all that was happening, you were ahead, right? There was no reason for you to lose those shrines. You could have stayed ahead and kept your economy growing even more. So that what I think is the single biggest piece of criticism that I can give, is work on being more active with your army in that kind of transition period. It's perfectly safe to take your Ashigaros and run up and snipe one of his units and then fall back. Make sure you don't group the slow units with the fast units, so that when you are hitting and running like that you don't get caught up and slowed down. But that was I think the biggest piece that I can do, biggest piece of criticism I can give. The other thing that I mentioned briefly when I reloaded into the game that I noticed was there was a chance where you both hit age 3, you were both kind of saving to age. You had just killed a whole bunch of his units, and then you backed off and sieged the shrine over here, and then went back to standing on top of your base, where you probably could have just rolled into him and killed him. After you win a fight, I would always advise at least pursuing a little bit. If nothing else, you could have killed more impactful shrines, like these ones down here, and then came back and killed the ones that were back here. But there was a chance probably that you could have just rolled into his base and killed him, because once again, if you look at the military unit population just before you guys are aging, right, this is that little engagement that we're talking about. He lost a bunch of units. You were significantly ahead. And if you would have pushed in here when he was at 29 pop and you were at 54 military pop, you would have probably just smashed down the doors and killed him, to be perfectly honest. But you took the safe approach and you still won as a result, so can't be too disappointed with that. Hopefully some of those things help, and hopefully, if you have any more questions, like I said, a little bit easier to analyze losses than it is wins, because quite honestly, your early game looked really solid. You've got the build down. Your macro early on in the game, which is what some people have difficulty with, was pretty on point. Didn't have a ton of unspent resources. At the end, you started stockpiling a little bit of resources, but that's something that I think you can be aware of and fix on your own. So feel free to submit another replay. Hopefully it helps. And that's going to be it. I see a couple people asking for another replay. I don't have a ton of replays to go from, so I'm just going to stick to one at a time for the time being. And I don't want to burn through all the replays at once. I want to keep a couple of them for later. So that's going to be it for the stream. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I don't usually ever do 2 replays in one session. I usually just do 1 replay at a time. I do always, or I have recently been uploading the VODs to YouTube, so you can always just check the end of the VODs to be able to see that. But that's going to do it for stream today. Thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, it's a pleasure, and I do enjoy it. So that's going to be it. I'm going to find another fancy Age of Empires stream to host, but that's going to do it for me. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see y'all next week. Take care.